Welcome to another round of Spudventures. This week we're playing a D&D one-shot set in the wonderful setting of Theros from Magic the Gathering. Our GM today is GreatDinn. Take it away.
Hey, hi, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Spudventure. I'm gonna cut right into it because we're starting a bit late. So let's get introductions done. We have Avis Echo playing Kyros.
Hi.
We have Kalyssdra played by the wonderful VerminQuest.
Hello.
We have Harmiala Lighthoof played by Xencarn.
Punch horse.
I thought you were Stealth Horse.
I can be two things.
I suppose you can be two kinds of horse. We have, I'm assuming you want it pronounced as Clopin, sort of like Chopin, DreadPriest?
Yes.
All right, we have Clopin played by DreadPriest.
Stop.
We have Leo Orum played by Azure Mountain.
My fist shall burn with a righteous fury.
And we have Teoz of the Iron Mane played by Newbiespud.
Hello.
So,
How was I supposed to follow that?
Exactly.
You did it beautifully. So to run over some details real fast, as Spud said, this is taking place on the Magic the Gathering plane of Theros. It is basically Magic the Gathering's answer to Greek mythology. Some of the big things about it are there's the perpetual starry sky known as the Nyx. The gods are manifestations of a whole bunch of things. There's about 15 of them, 5 major ones, 10 minor ones. It's got, the various levels of the underworld and a whole bunch of Greek monsters. And subsequently, I thought, hey, you know what's really cool? Greek monsters are cool, and also The Witcher is cool, and also the way The Witcher hunts monsters is cool. So maybe we do both. Maybe we combine all that together into one delightful soup that I'm calling the First Labor. So yes, this is Theros, and we are about to enjoy a monster hunt. Now let me get started. An auspicious event is occurring in Miletus, one of the greatest polises of Theros. Metamai, the ageless Sphinx, has made his presence known. Miletus sees the Sphinx only once or twice a year. Often he only appears for a day or two, silently watching, occasionally interacting with the more philosophically inclined, but always serving as a harbinger of something. And this particular appearance, has corresponded with no religious ceremonies, no coronations, and the tensions between all of the major polises are at their lowest. He has now been in the city for a full week. Naturally, this information has spread across the entire land of Theros, and resulted in many heroes traveling to the city to see what this could possibly mean. And with only so many roads to travel, these 6 characters have met up together. Not the first time they've met each other, but they have met up together once again, and they are traveling with each other for company and for safety. The 6 of you are waking up in the village of Atmos. It is a sort of it is not a major polis in any sense, but it is a trade post that is used between both the leonin and the people of the polis of Miletus. It is not a terribly common occurrence to see leonin and human living together like this, but in the vast plains of Theros, there are several places where survival has become a bit more important than any long-held grudges. And this particular place, Atmos, happens to be at a perfect distance between the major leonin polis of Oreskos and the megapolis of Miletus. It's dawn. The night sky is still glimmering, all of the stars of Nyx moving and showing the various constellations and monsters and heroes who have been placed up there by the gods, reenacting their greatest achievements over and over again. What would you like to do? You can smell there are people cooking basic breakfast. You have all been given lodging by one of the more wealthy merchant families that happens to live in Atmos in exchange for some amount of protection, which mostly seemed to be a hospitality thing more than anything else. And you have a full day's travel ahead of you. So how would you like to start your days?
With food, preferably.
Kyros has been up for at least an hour eating. Very, very slowly.
Clopin's just basically going to unfold himself from whatever pose he took for the night. Because Anvil Forged, I don't sleep. I just go into a state of suspended animation.
Right. I just realized that I said names, but I didn't really introduce anyone's characters. So would you like to describe yourself for the audience?
Yeah, sorry. Are you like a robot satyr?
Anvil Forged is kinda, yeah.
Basically crafted by Perforos.
Warforged.
Yeah, you could say Warforged.
Yeah, it's basically the Warforged of this plane, so, metal, and you can see, like, lines of fire inside, so...
See if I can find... Nope, that's not it. I'm going to see if I can find a picture of Perforos so you can understand why perhaps...
Basically Hephaestus, got it.
Yeah, he's basically Hephaestus.
You had linked it. I'm scrolling back to find.
I was trying to, see if I could find one in Fantasy Grounds, but I'm having some difficulty.
There's a lot going on in the program right now.
There's a lot, yeah.
So, Clopin is...
Meanwhile, Clopin is his best god.
Oh, let's not start this conversation again.
Yeah, that explains pretty much everything I needed to know.
Big golden man with a hammer standing in a forge that is a big volcano, so yes.
Yeah. Here's Perforos.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I think breakfast to start with. Breakfast is good.
And you can actually...
Probably...
Yeah, you can actually see the stars from his Nyxborn form.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm coming into there. I am now soaking wet because I had gone outside after I woke up to go to the well and just dump water on myself.
Soak your gills.
And now I'm coming in.
Leo's probably finishing up his morning training.
Makes sense.
Gotta keep in shape.
All right. So yes, you are given a simple breakfast. Meat, eggs, some grains, porridge, basically. It's not the most delightful breakfast you've had, but it's good home food.
We were in the middle of introducing everybody. We should probably resume that.
Yes. So,
I am Teoz of the Iron Mane, which is a leonin, which is a lion man clan of, I guess, sort of like smiths and artificers. And I am a fighter from that clan, and I've basically been making my living out in the wild as a monster hunter. This is kind of my primary tool set, and I usually work by myself, but there's a big event going on, so why not? I don't really have much allegiance to any of the gods. Kind of an iconoclast. I don't have any piety to them, positive or negative. But it's just like, the gods are kind of terrible, but whatever. I'm immortal, I got my own life to lead. And also, I'm basically a fighter with power armor. Because the Unearthed Arcana is really fascinating sometimes.
It sure is.
It's a dangerous place. I can second that statement.
I need to add more to fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
It just takes a while.
Yeah.
Just like a show of hands, who has something from Unearthed Arcana on their sheet?
Yeah,
Not
I do.
here. Not today.
I think everybody but Kalyssdra and Harmiala. Because
Oh, well, I feel
You-
boring now.
you don't have Unearthed Arcana, Kyros, but you have
I'm completely over.
you have something I made,
Oh,
which might as well be Unearthed Arcana.
It is. It's under Jin.
All right, why don't you go next?
No, I should go last.
I don't know. You sound like you're going to take the longest to
Yeah.
explain. You should probably go.
No.
And I can go next.
Go
Playing
for it.
Leo Orum, also a leonin, but I am a Nyxborn, so I'm playing that as didn't have a pride, so I just named myself after my most prominent features, what with me being a lion and also having a brilliant golden mane that perpetually flows in some wind that other people cannot feel. Leo Orum. Also, former undefeated former Pankrashian champion. But got an injury and so retired. Mostly better now. But got a knee injury, so my dex is low.
Still hurts when it rains.
Did you take an arrow to it?
I was going to say
No,
it's
my,
because Packradden is wrestling, so
Yeah, my last opponent did some dirty blows. So, broke my knee, but I still won. Just had to retire after that.
I could kick her. I could kick Kyros for that joke. I'm kidding.
Favorite
But you
how to
see-
react.
Difference between me and the guard, I'm still adventuring, so didn't take an arrow to the knee. Otherwise, I'd just be a town guard. As is the
Nothing
fate of
wrong
all
being
who
a
take an
town
arrow to
guard.
the knee.
You could probably just retire if we're being honest, but
Probably, but
that's no fun.
yeah, Leo wants to make himself a better person, help people wherever he can. Doesn't want to just sit around not helping people and himself. Also, Nyxborn, don't want to attract too much attention in the terms of the gods, because worried they'll send me into the Nyx, which I can't help people here if I'm in the Nyx. So, kind of have a bit of an aversion to things touched by the gods.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Who would like to describe themselves next?
Can go. I'm Kalyssdra. I'm a triton paladin of the Oath of Glory. I was born under the sea. I live for the sea, and I will die for the sea. Thassa is my god, and I hold her above everything else.
Even the sea.
Well,
Thassa is
Thassa
the
is
sea.
the sea.
Yeah.
As a young merfolk child, I was caught in a vortex elemental's jaws and lived there for a few days until I was blindly able to defeat it with the help of some sort of divine help. And after I did that, the oracles and everything of Thassa had named me a champion and sent me out in the world to bring glory to Thassa.
As a result of that, being trapped in the vortex elemental, you also ended up with the unscarred feature.
Yes, the divine gift of since Thassa had protected me all those years ago, her magic still works its way through me, healing blows that I take far faster than just normal healing.
Like a very wet Achilles.
Hmm.
All right. Who next?
Who hasn't gone?
You.
for one.
Damn. Yeah. So hi, I'm Harmiala Lighthoof. I'm a centaur monk. I travel around sort of competing in athletics competitions for money because I want to, travel as widely as I can to sort of explore sort of combat and the nature of death on various creatures.
And death is an interesting thing on Theros because there are many different layers to the underworld.
Oh yeah.
And always people trying to get out of it.
No, they're not.
They have
try.
been. They have been.
They can try.
There's a whole thing that you'll probably get to today.
Just stay where you are.
Just stay where you are. I won't have
He can
problems.
only kill you so many times.
So do people escaped from the underworld count as undead?
They count as people that Clothis does not like.
I will
I
go
don't
into
like
the I will go into the nature of the undead in a little while.
Okay.
I think it's just Avis then.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, Kyros is super normal. Completely normal. Except hair is made of snakes and the lower body is also a snake. Because he is a gorgon. He is a cleric of Clopin, and he used to live on an island with a bunch of other gorgons, mostly women, because they used to send off the men. And then he was going to be sent off, and then Clopin said, "Nope, you're gonna be my oracle." And then they said, "Well, guess you can't do that." So then they started raising him as a woman. And then he didn't have to go away. And then she came to him and said, "Your fate is not here. You're gonna go out." And so he did that because why do you say no to gods? Why? And this is the dumb version of my entire backstory.
Basically, Clothis saved him from being sent away, only to later send him away.
Yep.
That sounds like
Yeah,
a
it
job.
sounds like a god.
Yeah.
She saved him from living alone in complete and utter solitude, and then sent him away from living in stagnation.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you ask him, he will say, "It's a pretty good deal."
Yeah.
So I guess I'm finishing off.
I suppose so.
So yes, I am playing Clopin. Originally, I'm double checking the name, but basically Anvil Forged of Perforos's area, and something happened. I started getting flashes of memories and visions, so left to figure out what was going on with that, and has returned finally.
All right.
So from left to right, a lion man in power armor, a lion man
made of stars.
A gorgon, a merfolk, a centaur, and a robot satyr all walk into a homestead.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of them standing a few feet away from at least three of them.
And the homeowner goes, "Welcome to my home! You're not even remotely the weirdest thing I've seen on Theros."
Fair enough.
And I
You
guess
say
I
that
should
as if
say,
you're not from Theros.
I should say, I do not worship Perforos at this point. I worship Crufex, the god of knowledge.
Still, three of you are touched by gods.
Yeah, true.
Gods.
I think I might have
Not that
accidentally
Leo has anything.
I might have accidentally made the most Witcher thing here.
Maybe.
Because I'm a
Good job on
fighter.
actually
I'm
playing the game.
I made a fighter with a little magic.
I mean, yeah.
That's basically a paladin.
Who literally, like, his main job is as a monster hunter.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you, as I said, you enjoy a nice peaceful breakfast. But as you are exiting the home to start your travels towards Miletus, I think basically all of you being non-human, but let me just check your passive perceptions real fast.
It's 19.
19.
10, I think.
9 looks like for me.
Yeah,
It is.
12.
So how do you calculate passive perception? I don't think I've ever known that.
10 in your wisdom modifier.
Okay. So 10.
And then if you're proficient in perception, you get to add your proficiency bonus, I think.
10 plus
And
your
yeah, there
skill
was
bonus
you
in
add-
perception.
All right. So my passive wisdom is 14.
Okay. I'm gonna say that it's not. It's not like this is something that is especially hidden, but you can see a group of leonin and human alike, sort of separating themselves, but both staring at something that they are crowded around on the ground, murmuring quietly amongst each other.
I
Sure,
wonder
let's
what
check
it
it
is.
out.
Slither, slither, slither. Listen, I don't have feet.
You don't have feet. And I will say that, Kyros, most people going to be real wigged out by you, just not like, because of the reason of the gorgons come in two kinds that most people are familiar with. The kind that are driven mad by their isolation from society, and the kind that worship gods and thus may be prone to screwing people over.
And boy, are you maybe one of those.
Big head and all snake heads. Can't imagine why you would think that.
Yeah, it's just they're just wary because again you could turn them to stone with a gaze.
I could. It's completely understandable.
So they part for you fastest. And you can see there are two bodies lying on the ground. One leonin and one human, and they both look like they have been ripped by something sharp. The leonin looks like the weapons went for the sort of midsection and did a lot of piercing and slashing, while the human looks a little more ripped by teeth and claws.
So they had a fight.
That is the theory that seems to be going around, but you hear in the crowd that the human had no weapons on him and no one found anything nearby.
So it was very obviously okay. So it's staged. The question is why.
So
And
no
are
one
they
saw
alive?
it.
They're the two on the ground are very much not alive.
Okay.
Are
They
you
are
still alive? No.
I walk up to them
Okay.
and I walk up to them and I go, I think they're both dead.
An astute observation, indeed.
Roll insight to see if they're a lich.
So yes, you have two bodies in front of you and a crowd who is sort of murmuring amongst themselves about it. How would you like to proceed?
Are there-
No one right?
Divine sense?
Divine sense.
Yep.
Let me double check the specific wording on that one real fast, just to be absolutely certain. This is, to your senses, not
Particularly evil or good?
it's not particularly evil or good. However, it does have it's a bit difficult to describe. It's sort of like negative space. You feel like you should be like there's a difference between perceiving good, perceiving evil, and perceiving nothing.
Indeed.
So this is a whatever did this is odd.
So no,
and there aren't any objects or places that have been consecrated or desecrated
within like
the 60-foot radius.
A 60-foot. You can tell that one of the nearby houses has a small, altar inside to some deity. But so you know
nothing
that
out of the ordinary.
Yeah, you know that the sense is working. It's just not. It's not focused on this.
So something happened here that has no divine morality access.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep.
Which on Theros could be a lot of things.
I guess I'll turn to the closest leonin and be like, so did these two have a beef or?
And the leonin sort of strokes his chin and says, I know that the two of them got drunk last night, but I didn't happen to stay and watch if there was anything they might have fought about. But otherwise, these two were fairly close, so this sort of... Well, I would like to say this sort of argument getting out of hand would be unthinkable, but it is sometimes something that happens between us out here on the plains.
Were they just found over here?
The leonin that was addressed sort of shrugs and says, I do not know. I only got here a few minutes ago. It was... And crap, forgot. I already forgot my Greek names. Damn it! Sorry, give me a moment. I have to pull up my list again.
It was this guy who first found the bodies.
It was Jeff.
It was Jeff.
You know, Jeff.
Also, I was just flipping through. It's just like, okay, what have we here? And it's like, okay.
The leonin takes a moment and says, it was Arista who found these bodies. After all, it is. And he points to the nearest house. It did. The bodies were left here outside her home. And
assuming that someone else killed them, do you know if there have been any incidents recently, or if there was any reason someone would have reason to attack them? Have you had any monster troubles in this area recently?
The leonin takes a moment and says, none that I can think of. That said, the last hunting party has not yet returned. They might have more information about what has been traveling these parts recently. But nothing has attacked the village as of late. At least, no more than the usual rogue chimera from Miletus. But nothing too troublesome.
Can I roll investigation to ask around if anyone else was at where they had been drinking last night and knew like what direction they went in?
Sure.
I'm not great at it.
Teen's fairly solid. Let's see. Let me think of how to sort of yes, but this.
Yeah.
You find a human woman with a somewhat larger figure who is the bar owner and the one most likely to have seen them. And she looks as though she is still drunk now. You get the distinct feeling that she takes a lot of pleasure in the fact that she owns an establishment that serves alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And she, in response to your question, says, "I remember chasing them out because they decided that they didn't want to pay anymore, which I found personally very rude. And I believe as I was putting the sword away, I saw them heading out," and she sort of vaguely points towards the mountain in the distance, which is spread sort of over the plains. And it's a good several hundred miles away, maybe.
In that general direction, are there any other establishments in that direction? They might have gone to look for more drinks.
In the Polis of Atmos, no. The other bars would have been further back. Her establishment is actually closer to Miletus than it is to Oreskos, and she pointed more towards Oreskos.
So, can I use Arcana on the bodies to see if there's any magical signatures?
Sure.
Or just detect magic.
With a 15, you can tell that no magic was used, but the creature was magical.
Can I?
Theros, what isn't?
It's kind of a good point, but it does narrow down some stuff.
Can I try to use survival to kind of look at the, I guess, the wounds or any tracks that might be around where the bodies were found?
Yeah. I don't wanted to use survival too, just to see if there was like any trace of what did this, if it went anywhere.
Unfortunately, with a crowd like trampling all over everything, that may be a little hard.
You never know. You never know. I'm
24. Wow.
Sure my slither trail looks very distinct from your paws.
So with an 11, as far as footprints go, no. Sorry, bad. That's there's not enough. Or
there's too many.
Well, there's not enough good data. However, with a 24, you said you were checking their wounds?
Their wounds and for like blood trails or anything like
Okay.
related to that.
There is no blood trail. And the notable thing about that is that there is no blood anywhere around here.
Oh, fun.
So
Not even in the wounds?
There's some left in the wounds, but not as much as there should be if these bodies were killed anywhere close by.
So you should probably ask the owner of this establishment they are dropped off in front of, because that's a message. That's not just jumping the bodies to buy time to get away with murder. That's sending a message in front of probably a god's place.
It is the home that you discovered that altar in.
Yep.
Or that you sensed that altar in, I should say.
Who's actually good with charisma?
I'll walk up to the door and
I don't know if I
knock
can
on
be
it.
the face today.
I have -1. Does that count as good?
I have +1.
Oh no,
I've got +3, but I'm not much of a talker.
I'm +4.
Which skills respective?
Persuasion.
Probably persuasion. Yeah.
+9.
Nice.
Right, satyr. Good, right. Sorcerer.
Satyr,
right.
and also Sorcerer Warlock. Also, Kalyssdra, I believe, was initiating this, however.
Yes, I've already walked to the door and started knocking on it.
Yeah.
Hello?
Staying toward the pack because I creep people out.
You hear from the other side, go away! I want to be alone!
I mean, that's understandable, but there was a murder outside. 2 murders, actually. Can we just talk and maybe, cut down on the amount of murders that happen when things kill people and drain them of their blood, maybe?
Perfect. Couldn't have said it any better myself.
10 out of 10.
You hear her. You hear her actually sort of like slamming her body against the door to make sure that you cannot physically enter the room. And she says, "I will talk later. I need to be alone right now."
Well, how much later? Like, how long do you need?
2, maybe 3 hours, please.
Can I roll insight?
Sure.
Can I also roll insight to get like
that's
a
a nat 20.
general mood thing? Never mind, I guess.
Sounds like she might have some sort of curse or something.
You can roll as well, Xencarn, if you want.
Sweet. I like rolling stuff.
Well, we do have a nat 20 on that.
Oh yeah, trust me. I'll let y'all know what you get. All right, so 11, 12, and 13. You can tell that she is definitely really freaked out by something. Like it's not. She is not joking about how she's not trying to fool anyone with how upset she is. Kalyssdra, you can tell with a 19, she is lying about the time. She is going to try and leave. And with a 24, Leo, you get that sense as well that she is attempting to buy some time to give herself time to leave the area. And you also have the sort of distinct sense of she knows not exactly what's happening, but that she has some fairly good ideas as to what might be occurring.
So I do have Detect Thoughts as a spell, and I also have Mage Hand if we want to freak her out.
I don't think we need Mage Hand to freak her out.
Yeah, probably don't need to freak her out.
I think she's been sufficiently freaked out.
So yeah, Detect Thoughts probably wouldn't be awful right now.
Do you have to see the target for Detect Thoughts?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going. Oh, go ahead.
Here's a question: if we're willing to, well, if I am willing to burn both my level 4 slots, I could Arcane Eye into the house and then Detect Thoughts through that.
I don't think that's necessary.
No.
Nah.
Yeah.
Also, your Detect Thoughts does not burn a spell slot.
Oh, that's right. It's the Crewfix one.
Yep.
Does it burn a trait though?
He gets 2 uses of it a day. Yeah.
Well,
I don't think
we could just kick the door down.
I don't think that's necessary either.
we could also just stand guard around the house to make sure we don't lose sight of her when she tries to leave.
Yeah.
I call dibs on the back door.
Well, while they're doing that, I'm going to try to talk through the door again and go, look, this, it might be important that we do this as fast as possible. Are you sure? I mean, if we just talk to you right now, we can leave you alone. And I'm trying a persuasion check.
All right, go ahead and roll. That's a pretty good persuasion roll.
God darn.
I'm gonna roll something too. Let's see. Yep. All right. You hear her breath sort of slow down, and she says, "You promise?"
My word to Thassa.
Okay, but only one of you.
You should probably go in.
Who's you? Me?
You. That's you. Sorry.
Oh.
I'm staring at the floor. Like, I know how to say it, but I don't remember.
I 100% feel like that's in character.
Yeah.
I feel like either
It
Kalyssdra
is.
or Clopin.
No, I
Yeah.
think
Maybe Clopin can get a view in as I open the door.
Clopin wants to sit on a tail as it lifts up in the window.
Okay. Just let me in here, and I'll talk to you.
Right. She takes a moment, backs away, and you hear the door sort of open. It's not locked, but it opens up. And you can see it is a cozy little home with what you can see in the sort of corner of it is an altar to Ephara, god of the polis.
I'll walk in and I'll go, nice place on land.
She looks at you, this leonin woman looks at you and goes, thank you. I am happy to provide. She looks really confused.
I just want to share, for like the last few months I've had this headcanon where like every D&D campaign, every party is just aliens pretending to infiltrate. Because everyone asks the weirdest questions and says the weirdest things.
I mean,
Yeah.
And this suits my headcanon so well.
Kalyssdra might as well be.
Kalyssdra is totally an alien. Kyros is 100% an alien.
But
I mean, Leo is technically actually an alien.
Yeah, kind of also same with Clopin.
Everyone's an alien.
I am
To be fair.
No, I'd be a plain native, so it's fine.
Oh, I'm playing native. I'm still an alien.
It's like deep sea creatures. They're definitely alien, even though they are totally from Earth.
But yeah, just
Are they though? Are they really?
Well,
infect everyone with that headcanon.
Well, I'll be thinking about that for every single game I ever run ever now. Thank you.
Yep.
if you want to be super technical, then originally Earth had no life forms on it, and then meteorites. So technically everything's an alien.
And I don't really want to get it's appropriate, but I don't want to get ship of theses about biology.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just
Let's leave it at that.
4 hours later, and that is how we know that it wasn't Mars we came from.
Welcome to my TED Talk.
Welcome to my Fred Talk. It's not like TED Talks in any way, except for the fact that there is a person talking, and they might know what they're talking about.
And it ends in Ed.
And it ends in Ed. Yes,
Ed
so
talked.
Kalyssdra, you enter into the home and confuse the poor leonin woman who is, you can tell, clearly coming down from a panic. It's a bit hard to see through the fur, but she is very pale right now. Yeah.
Okay. This is like going to be a weird question. Is there any way that when I get closer, possibly my aura of courage could help out in any way? Do I have to be in battle?
Let me look at that ability real fast. Can't be frightened. I don't know that she's friendly right now is the thing.
Okay.
She's neutral.
Oh.
She's not a friendly. She is neutral.
So, I think I will take a look as I'm walking in at, you said it was Perforus?
Ephara.
Ephara, okay. The Ephara altar and see what I know about that. Which maybe isn't that much. But...
So with a 12, you know that I'll say that you get 3 basic things from it. 1, it's a fairly nice altar. It's clearly well taken care of. 2, this woman is a leonin, so it's actually kind of weird that she has it and that it's well taken care of. And 3, you know that it's Ifara, god of the polis. It's sort of used to she's sort of worshipped to sort of build civilization. She's used as a sort of like, or she's worshipped as a as when people want their cities to become more prosperous or grow larger, or when they're attempting to learn things, discuss philosophy, that sort of thing.
Can I roll it to see if I learn more? Because, like, seeing through the door.
Yeah. You get about the same amount of information.
Okay.
You guys are really focused on your own gods, huh?
Important in our life. I can start this conversation with you, but I was respecting your opinion and not doing it.
Careful, Leo. They can play a really mean game of I'm not touching you.
Yeah. Well.
Cue the mage hand.
Eh.
Okay. I'm going to look at the altar and I go, this is pretty nice. Are you a follower of Ifara?
She sort of looks sheepish, which is odd for a lion, and says, "Yes, it is mine. Can you promise not to tell anyone?"
Sure, I won't. But yeah, I'm not really interested in ratting you out or telling everyone that you're a worshiper of a god if the people around here don't really like it. I guess I was just wondering, if you're following Ifara, maybe you'd want to help us with trying to figure out what happened with this murder, because you'd want to protect the polis you're in, right?
She nods to that. Yeah, she nods to that and says, "Yes, I would like to protect the polises. But I am not certain we will be able to."
Oh, why don't you tell me what you saw and we'll see what we can do, huh?
She takes a deep breath and then says, "It was dark and far away. I was following my husband to see if he was going to finally come home from drinking with his friend, and I was yards behind them when I saw something fall from the sky and strike them both. I did not get a good view, but it was easily twice my size, and it's the feeling that I got from it was one of absolute dread. I ran home, and I think it knows I ran. And I think those bodies out there are proof."
Was that your husband out there?
She nods.
I'm sorry. Well, I think we're going to try to do everything we can to get this monster. And I hope that we can, stop it from attacking you and maybe get some justice for your husband and his friend. Now, where were they when you saw them get attacked?
There's an old temple that my husband was attempting to rebuild some ways to the north. And for the long days he worked there, he had stored some wine, and he was simply taking his friends to partake.
Okay, well, we'll go to the temple and check it out. If you see us around, if you need any help, just let us know, okay?
Okay.
Probably don't go
Right on.
traveling by yourself for a little while.
Yeah, she's not smart enough to say that.
Except for Kalyssdra.
She'll nod and make her way back to the door. And then once she gets outside, she'll explain what she had heard to the rest of the party.
Ah, damn it, it's a flyer.
Yep. So that's one spell I know to prepare.
There's a lot of things that fly that doesn't really narrow it down.
Sorry, friends, my mic cut in and out. I missed everything you just said.
Oh.
Just starting the prep work as, okay, it's probably going to be a flyer, so start preparing that. And
Yep. So
Yeah,
preparing
we're now sharing. Kalyssdra is sharing the information with us now. So
Okay.
Yeah, I left the house and I'm sharing what was said inside.
Okay.
Also-
Thank you.
also, I realized I probably didn't put it down, but I have the loot proficiency from the being a satyr, so at this point it's probably just, plucking a couple notes while waiting.
A robot playing a musical instrument. What'll the world think of next?
Well, look at it this way. Through the fire and flames isn't probably going to be too hard if I, can move faster than a regular person.
on a loot, no, that's not going to work.
Do it.
The fire flames on a loot. Now I have to Google that.
Yeah, same.
I'm already doing it. You focus on the section.
I will. It was just one of those things that immediately hit me as like, oh no, I want it now.
Yep, it exists.
Of
And
course.
you technically can. Yeah, there it is. It's, as I thought, Lord of the Rings Online, you can play a lute. Every character can play a lute.
Fantastic.
Oh man, that means it probably existed in 14 too. Shit. Anyway, continue.
Can 14 use a .abc file?
I have no
Yup.
idea.
Then
Yup.
yes, it can.
Ah,
Fantastic.
birds. Anyway.
Alrighty. So yes, you are. I'll say that Arista also gave sort of rough directions to actually get to the temple to the north, or to the abandoned temple in the north. So yes, how would you like to proceed from this point?
To the temple.
Investigate the
guess.
temple, yeah.
I suppose so.
No.
So on your journey to the temple, you encounter something I mentioned earlier. There are wandering sort of the byroads that are spread through this plains. Gray-fleshed figures wearing brilliant golden masks. These are the returned. They are what happens when the dead attempts to leave the underworld. The thing that tends to happen is right at the if they do not cross through the river, if they do not go back the same way they entered through Athreos, what happens is that at the border, their soul and body split. And the body takes on this gray shape, wearing a golden funerary mask that vaguely resembles the person they once were. And they wander the land performing crude imitations of what their lives did while their spirit becomes an eidolon, which tends to embody the more the less identity-based aspects of one's soul. So things such as goodness or ideals or things along those lines. Sometimes an eidolon can be found fighting alongside those that it thinks are just. Other times it can be found wreaking havoc for those that it feels are doing wrong to whatever god they worshipped in life, things along those lines. But the returned do not have much personality. They are mostly there is basically a robot among you, and they are that much less. And they appear to be wandering these fields. Some are going in no distinct direction, but several of them appear to be heading in a specific direction, somewhere to the west of where you're going, which would be roughly north of Miletus.
Is them kind of grouping together kind of a unique phenomenon?
It can be. It depends on the sorts of people they were in life. If it's, for example, if they were soldiers in life, they might, as returned, form up into phalanxes and just naturally move as small armies. But if they weren't, then this would be something odd.
And it doesn't look like they're that coordinated, I take it?
No, they're not especially coordinated. At least not this group of returned that you're watching.
But they're moving with, like, purpose almost?
Some of them are. Some of them are not.
I vote we just ignore them and continue on as best we can. Because there's no point getting them riled up if we don't have to.
That would be the logical...
Cleric, I
choice?
swear to God.
Listen!
What is your malfunction here? What's going on?
It's not like they're intentionally going against your god.
Clothis is the god of destiny and hates people who left the underworld.
Gotcha. All right.
Because they are fighting.
And I shared in the tabletop role play.
Yeah.
One of the returned cards.
Yeah, that's an example of what a returned looks like. I'll see if I
Like,
can.
That entire line that he said is like through his teeth, because it's clear, and there's like under this hood he has on, just because it's kind of unsettling to look at Medusa. There has been a very, very faint cacophony of like hissing snakes. So he's saying something sounds logical. The hair is showing what he really thinks about this.
I mean, if you want to go fight them, feel free. But no.
So yeah, these are some examples of what the returned can look like.
Again, I state it would not be wise to.
Okay, I really like that Triton one.
Yeah,
That's
really
really
good.
cool.
A lot of dead fish.
That particular one has death touch, so that's why.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. So yes, there are. I would say it's probably about 10, maybe 15 returned in total that you can see, and it's 10 of them seem to be moving with some purpose in a particular direction, and 5 of them just appear to be wandering aimlessly.
It could be worth checking out briefly, but if they're on like if it's clear they're on a long journey, then I say we head back and just get back to where we're going.
You also might be able to figure out some information based on what they're wearing and the type of mask they have.
That is
I mean,
true.
are they actually in our way, or can we just walk by them?
There is so much room to walk around them.
These are the open fields, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And they're not heading the direction we're going to. They're heading slightly west.
What polis?
So we
is
can always
west
hit.
of-
We can always hit them on the way back if we need to.
Unless they get where they're going, we don't know where that is.
But we
are there
also
any-
don't know what dangers we're walking into. So do we really want to pick?
I mean, that's both options. I'm going to do perception. To
13.
see on the return to see if there are any like significant attributes in terms of their clothing and appearance.
All right. Let me. Sorry, I'm just making sure I have some correct information up. So what you can tell is that these particular returned are in fact soldiers or ex-soldiers. Their masks are significantly more like the depictions on them are angrier rather than melancholy like several other returned are. The items they're wearing appear to be more soldier's garb than perhaps the commoner or a philosopher. And they are moving in what can maybe be described as a marching formation, but it's just not a very effective one. But they do not have any weapons.
Would we be able to tell by their dress or anything, like where they're from originally?
They're from a few different areas. You recognize some clothing as Setessan, some as Meletian, some as Akroan, some from the other smaller polises.
Okay, so this is actually pretty expected behavior then.
Yeah.
All right.
That said, they're definitely marching with more purpose than it's rare even with them to see the marching in a very particular location. So
Is there a polis on the way westward? Like, what would be the nearest polis to the west?
the nearest one would be one known as Iretus. Why are you doing a wisdom saving throw?
My patience.
Makes sense. Okay. The nearest one would be Iretus.
I don't know much about it.
Yeah, unfortunately, you don't know much about it. It's that it's another sort of polis like Atmos in that it's a sort of mix of leonin and human, and they've had some issues with that in the past, but the last you heard of it, things were going fine.
Tell you what, I'm still a little intrigued. Everyone else, if they want to just go to the temple where the activity is, and I'll follow these guys for a little while and I'll meet up later.
Going alone would be unwise. So if you are
going
going to go, I will come with you.
I think the larger group is safer. If I run into any trouble, I will flee.
Well, if you're running, then I'll come with you.
Sure, I'll just ride your back.
I mean, the centaur can go very fast.
Centaur fast.
Centaur speed is 70.
That's disgusting.
And then I can dash and then use my key to bonus action dash, and everything's great.
Yeah,
That's disgusting.
You can move 210 feet in 6 seconds.
And if you started within 5 feet of me, you get another 10.
Yeah.
I mean, I have fortuitous escape as a spell, but
all right. So myself and Harmiala.
Can Spud actually use me as a mount?
I don't think so.
Oh right, you're not
no,
actually horse sized.
No, yeah.
You're still very large, but it would.
That 210 feet would definitely be halved.
I
at
just
the very minimum.
have a thought for it.
Basically, like
I mean, it would depend on how big Leo is.
It would be Teoz, but
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
it would be like riding a pony in full plate armor.
That said, this pony can definitely carry you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I guess we'd have to look at like what the rules would be for carrying another PC.
Well,
basically.
Yeah. I have a question.
I think it's
So
halved
here's the thing.
if you're carrying someone.
Here's the thing. Clopin is 145 pounds. If that can be carried, I just swap out for Tensor's floating disc, put you guys on that, and it will basically fall.
Let's not overcomplicate a basic scouting mission.
Yeah, my maximum carry is like 225. So, yeah, I can probably, and I don't have a lot of stuff. So if I need to, I can probably carry you around. But, you know, you're a big boy. You can use your own feet to walk.
Yeah.
So real fast. The best thing I've found is the best sort of solution I've found is that a centaur PC can carry a small creature, so a small player. Or if it's carrying a medium-sized player, they're effectively grappled, is what's happening. So it would be halved movement.
Okay, I have an idea, though.
I mean, that's still, what, 35?
Yeah,
So
again, it's essentially having your speed to go, but you're still going like zoom.
You're still going the speed of a leonin. So, honestly, there'd be no difference from him just running versus him riding you, except for the dash and bonus dash.
Yeah.
So if I have a question, and it's if I use Find Steed, can someone else use it as a mount?
I believe so.
If you tell it to accept them,
again, these shambling returned are probably not going that fast, and the only concern is if we get ambushed by something far stronger.
Yeah, but if you only go a mile, then I'm also telepathically commuting with the steed, so we'd be able to know if you're in trouble.
Oh, that's pretty good, actually.
So I'll take 10 minutes while we're standing here and cast
that's right,
Find
for ritual,
Steed.
isn't it?
No, it's just 10 minutes is the casting time. Because you get the steed for like until it, I guess, something happens to it, right? So
as a ritual, it would be 20 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, I have as rituals just unseen servant and identify. So those will be, if I need to, those will have to be rituals for it.
Yeah, I pulled it up. So
It won't let you post it. That's what I was trying to do with a bunch of the stuff that I posted.
Yeah. Okay, so what would you like the steed to be?
let's see. We had come up with that it would be a hippocamp.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
Well, that's unusual.
I mean, merfolk.
Yeah. I mean, unusual for my leonin here.
I'm so excited.
Can that even work on land, or?
Yes.
It has a just natural speed of 20 feet.
It just flies swims.
Yeah, it can fly, basically.
Sweet.
Not
just like an inch off the ground, so it technically counts as running. It's fine.
Also, it's magical as hell. So
this rules actually.
Yeah. So yes, you are on a hippocamp.
All right. I will. If you can feel the steed running for its life, you'll know I'm in trouble. But I'll follow these for a little while and then meet up with you if it doesn't seem like they're going anywhere important.
Okay.
I'll nod and I'll say, Thassa be with you.
I shrug and say, sure.
The hippocamp nods and says, and Thassa with you.
Wait, what? It talks?
Oh, right, yeah, I can talk.
Yeah, I can talk.
Teoz looks down and is like, oh.
The hippocamp looks up and goes, would you prefer I be silent? I understand if you feel that way.
No, not at all. Thank you.
Should we be stealthy about this, or
I'm just gonna follow them at a short distance. I'm not gonna try and get their attention.
Okay.
I can also just do this alone now. I don't need Harmiala to come along.
yeah? But now I'm invested.
All right. So since this is magical as hell, it's got a speed of 50 feet. So
Cool,
that's it's not quite as fast as the centaur, but still pretty dang fast. Yeah. So you, I rolled a die to see who will follow, and I suppose we will follow you, following the returned.
Okay.
They so here is what you notice. After probably the first let's see. Let me just double check some mileage real fast. Miles 5,280 feet, so basically it would be 100 some odd rounds. 100 and I don't know, 30 rounds or something like that. After about what feels like probably quarter mile, you see that there are other groups of returned coming from different directions, but all sort of marching with the same purpose.
Huh.
And they're not all marching in formation. They're not all marching as military. Some of them are filling other positions. You can see the clothing might be more merchant-like, or some of it might be more politically based. Some might be smiths or farmers. And those ones tend to be alone, but marching with a similar sort of eye towards whatever is off in the distance.
Well, that doesn't
do you
sound
keep
good.
following?
Yeah, for a while. I mean, this definitely went from odd to suspicious, so I will continue to follow.
Hells yeah.
At a half mile, you see in the distance something definitely strange. It is what appears to be a large gray stone wall imbued with veins of gold.
Huh.
And it's being built up. It looks like fortifications around a city. It's still very far out from where you are. You can tell that this would, like getting to that city would exceed your mile. But you can see that there is something. And it definitely seems you can see just barely at the edge of your vision some returned entering, like they're rather gathering around that wall.
Okay. Just a
Yeah,
wall in
that's
the middle
weird.
of a field, or
It's actually it's plains, but it sort of butts up against a mountain. It seems like the kind of place that people would build a city in order to have fortification, like natural fortifications on top of whatever they could build themselves.
So we're looking at City of the Dead type situation here.
Potentially, yes.
Sounds like a great place for Harmiala.
huh?
Well,
Both of you roll history.
That sounds
ooh,
good.
History. 10 exactly.
I have slightly
A 10
more.
and a 20. So, with a 10, Harmiala, you know that this is not unheard of. There is a city near Akros known as Odunos, which is home to a significant number of returned that sort of just go about business in a city-like area. However, you also know that the leader of that particular group is a return that has slightly more semblance of humanity left in it. And that particular one is known as Timoret the Murder King.
Lovely.
And Teoz, with a 20, you know all of that information, and you also know that that particular wall is right where Iretus used to be.
Right where what?
Iretus, the polis that Kalyssdra remembered.
Huh.
The one that was also leonin and human.
And what happened to that city?
You do not know. The last sort of word that came out of Iretus was that the local leonin king and the local human diplomat had finally come to some sort of agreement and were going to be making peace.
Outstanding.
And now there's a wall there.
And now there's
probably more than a wall, but the wall is what you can see.
So the wall's blocking our view any further, I take it.
Yeah.
Other than the mountain behind it.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think?
Something is drawing all these dead over, and probably not for good reasons.
Agreed.
So probably best to
go poke it.
Send word to higher authorities that this is happening, because if there is a military action, you're going to need military to push back against it. Not some monster hunters.
Yeah, okay, fair point. So, shall we head back then?
Okay. So yes, sorry about that. There is a potential city of the returned. You were going to send word to someone in authority. What's up? What's next?
That'll be our errand for when we get back to town. Let's go back to the temple.
Okay. Let's cut back to the temple while they make their way over, because it's going to be a little bit before they actually get there. So you find, let me pull up the actual map here. And we can actually set you on it. Ha ha! Let me just figure out what the best place to actually set you all is. Probably there.
Xencarn and I are going to step away for a short bit while you're sorting that.
Okay. Probably add you all to the combat tracker. That'll make things easier. It's perfect. The wood theme has little like Centurion style helmets, which works for this.
Holy hell, your HP.
Yeah, Teoz is a beef boy.
Oh yeah, yeah, fighter with 20 con.
Yeah. Yeah, fighter with 20 con and power armor. Oh, I hope my monster's tough enough.
I mean, apparently I could be tougher because Azure bought plate and I didn't.
Yeah.
Well, that's more so AC rather than health.
Whoops. Okay.
But
Layers. Yeah. Snap to grid. On.
Like the map.
No, this is involved.
Map. It's a map.
Turn the grid off. No.
There was a grid here. It's gone now.
A lot of stars. Are those just places of interest?
Probably.
I'll let you know what they are as they come up.
All right.
But let me see if I can actually add you onto the map now. Haha! I can! Joyous day!
So I mouse over, okay, that's the range. Also, you can spin your character. I just found.
Yep.
Yep.
That is the thing that everyone has had a chance to play with.
I thoroughly dance around all maps at any given time.
You sure do.
I should not be given the power to do this.
It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Let me just make sure that I have my version of the map.
Oops.
Yes, here we go. So this is I guess actually let's get some kind of religion roll. Let's see if y'all recognize this temple.
Please.
Those of you who are
Okay.
actually here.
Yeah.
All right, time for just a straight +0.
Why?
Oh, wait, that's intelligence +3.
I am cursed.
Straight 10.
I am cursed, clearly.
17.
2 17s and 2 10s.
All right. 2 10s. The 2 10s. Here is what you can tell about it. This was at some point a temple to one of the as best you can tell, more white aligned gods, white mana aligned gods, which would be Heliod or Ifara or Karametra, or Iroas, or there's one other one I'm forgetting. Blue, white, green,
Got to
white,
step
white.
away for just a moment.
Or potentially Athreos. All right, I'll wait till Asher gets back.
It's not closest, which is why I don't know shit.
Yes. It is not to Clothis. Clothis is a red-green aligned god.
I'm not there, but is this temple like supposed to be abandoned or under construction?
It's abandoned.
Ah,
Just ignore me. I'm trying to see how cursed I really am.
I think that they had abandoned.
Wow,
that it was
I'm really
abandoned.
cursed.
That it was abandoned, and that it was they were trying to rebuild it. from
Yeah,
what
that
I
it was
remember.
basically one leonin and whatever friends he could rope into trying to rebuild it to get it back to what it was. But
He's doing a good job
Back.
for just like a single person and his buddies.
I mean,
What a
a
miss.
lot of the
In
biggest part.
ancient, not Greek.
Yeah, the biggest part was just cleaning out the stuff
Hmm.
right now. So yes,
You know, I had entirely forgotten about Athreos until you mentioned him.
yeah, I keep it's hard to remember all of the god names for me personally. So our 217s, what you can tell, based on the sort of crumbled statue before you, is that this is a former temple to Heliod.
Interesting, because the wife there had a shrine to Ifara. I'll like share that, I guess. I wonder if they were trying to turn this into a new temple to Ifara instead. Maybe someone got angry.
Perhaps
Cough,
someone
cough,
who
Heliod.
Perhaps someone who actually preferred who it was originally to.
Potential, but I'll say right now, I'm not having you fight a god.
You're not?
Yeah.
That feels unfair.
Yeah,
We're-
not
we're a
just
bit-
yet.
I mean, we wouldn't
Bit
have to
under level.
even fight a god, just like some, one of their servants or whatever.
An avatar of a god.
That's
Yeah.
just fine. That's fine to God. It's fine. Anyway.
Let me.
And affiliates of a god.
Let me see if I can find a very particular thing. What is his name again?
Steve.
No, there's a. I'll put it this way. It's like even the like champions of the gods. You're very scary.
Let's
Well,
just
we
fight-
have one of those right here in our party.
It's true, I'm very scary.
Mhm.
You're not scary.
Like the monster champions of gods are extremely not
Yeah.
fun to fight.
Yeah, because the ones that I remember from the set and stuff, it's like Gideon, had to borrow the power of Heliod to fight the Titan.
And,
All I
there's
know
yeah.
is that Pancration was used to take out monsters. So
Yep. And this grid situation is not maybe working as well as I'd hoped. Seems a little off. Or is it doing? Oh, okay. I'm just getting confused by shadows. That's all.
no, I think we're not actually bound to the grid at all.
We aren't.
It just shows
We are
a grid.
not.
That's weird. I could have sworn I snapped to grid.
Nope. But we can be good noodles and snap to ourselves.
That's fine. I was just getting confused. Blech. Anyway, so yes, with the 217s, you can tell this is a former temple to Heliod, and that this let me get a pointer out. This thing right here was a statue to him, which you can sort of tell based on the fact that it has a big old spear, which was Crusaor, the spear of Heliod.
So, what's that star there?
That appears from your 23 perception. That appears to be a what is the word? You can tell it is the I guess basically the beginnings of a new altar, and it's definitely not an altar to Heliod. It's sort of one of those God, I can't think of what the right term is for like a particular kind of shrine.
Epitaph?
No, it's not an epitaph. Regardless, it's a little shrine to Ifara. And it's basically, one of those things that people put up to say, like, all right, wish me luck as I do this thing.
Okay. So
It doesn't appear to have been messed with either.
So it's a YOLO shrine?
I don't know if I'd quite call it that, but okay. So yes, you can tell that at one point this was as you sort of explore further into it, you can tell at one point this was a very, very well taken care of temple. You will I will say that those of you who are more familiar with religion will note that while the spear is the same and some of the facial features, not everything about the remnants of the statue look exactly like the Heliod you're familiar with. Which admittedly might not be that familiar based on the misconceptions earlier, but still it looks a little off. And the stone looks extremely old. So what would you like to do? We've got several paths ahead of you. Which ones would you like to take? The left, right, or moving forward?
I want to go the
forward. Forward looks like it has been broken through.
All right. So let me start with the right. What you can see in that right room is that was at one point some sort of library, and the various wooden shelves and tapestries and stuff have become slightly overgrown by grass and moss that has sort of sprung up in the area. There are a few cases which may contain scrolls, may not. There's some definitely old parchment laying around, which looks like it'll crumble to dust at the slightest touch. It's definitely like a not insignificant amount of knowledge was potentially held in here.
The truest tragedy.
Mm-hmm. Forward, yes, it looks like the wall has been broken through, but it looks like it was broken through from the other side.
So Clopin's, in that case, Clopin's going to start heading to the right as well, see if he can get any information out of it.
Okay.
I think
Gonna help with that, essentially.
I think I'd like to use my divine sense while I'm here.
Okay. All right. Let me just double check. I just want to remember the exact wording on it. Oh, did I not put divine sense on yours? Dang it! There's so much stuff I got to remember.
Well, you can just check it on my list.
I know. I just pulled it up from the abilities. Okay.
Yeah.
Strong, and it's within 60 feet of you, not behind total cover. Oh, that's specifically fiends. That's creatures. Okay, but still, any place or object that has been hallowed / desecrated.
Desecrated.
Yeah, consecrated or desecrated. What you can tell with your divine sense is that obviously this place was at one point very, very consecrated. And you can get the one towards the little altar / shrine towards the front. You can also tell is I guess I don't want to say fresher, but you know what I mean. It's more immediately obvious that it's being taken care of. And then at a certain point, it feels like the sense of hallowedness just stops. Like it feels like there's a hard line drawn somewhere in the temple.
Do I know the direction of that?
It's towards the back.
Okay.
You can't get a good feel of exactly what, because it's like a radius. But it's just the further back you go, the stronger the less strong of the hallowed feeling, which probably should stay as, but isn't, despite this being a very large temple.
Okay, so I'll join Leo going just forward.
Okay. You encounter what appears to be a former eating area for perhaps the priests that took care of the temple. And you can see further beyond is a dried out fountain.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. Unfortunate. Let me cut back to the library. So you said you were looking for secrets, Clopin?
Yeah, more just trying to see what knowledge I can get out of the stuff and copy out.
I'm helping.
Go ahead and both of you roll what you think is appropriate here.
Nope.
Oh.
I'm
Okay.
first.
Yeah, you're not having good luck today, unfortunately.
No.
Kyros with a 4. You are finding a whole bunch of I'll say this: you're finding a whole bunch of information that you just know is wrong because it's referring to the 14 gods, and Clothis is not listed among it.
That is the biggest crime.
With a 14, Clopin, you aren't having much luck finding anything of note to you. But let me do some whispering.
Oh, secrets.
Secrets. Secret lore.
Secret message. Secret message. Secret message.
You could keep secrets too.
Unless I take, for the of my choice, which I never actually chose, I take whatever your language is.
Yeah, it's true. All right.
Okay, then.
So, yep. You are you basically hear a small voice in the back of your head that passes along that particular message. Yeah. So the star in that location appears to be a locked scroll case. There's some it's been sealed in a way that is not immediately obvious how to unseal. So the star next to the fountain, that is it looks like that is where the wine was hidden. So congrats, you have found 3 jugs of wine.
Well,
There's a cry from
in this area,
a plane
Like
far,
some
far away.
collapsed passage.
That appears to be a dead end. You are not Yuli. You are not Yuli Kalyssdra, and I don't know if you. It appears to be a dead end, and it seems like this area is being slightly tunneled out, to expand into the other areas that have been sort of examined. But this is obviously the work of perhaps an amateur and is definitely newer than everything else. Further to the right, that feeling is getting stronger.
So, just as a thing, you said the case was locked?
Locked is the easiest way to describe it. It's basically a completely sealed tube with no discernible way to open it or close it. You can hear something rattling around inside, perhaps paper, but you don't know exactly what it is.
Crush it.
Okay, I guess I'll start at this point where everything begins to narrow and I'm losing this feeling. Cautiously move through here.
You reach the feeling of consecration is definitely getting weaker the further out you get, but you don't see any signs of anything dangerous here. And then about here, you enter into a looks like a sort of main room that looks like there might have at one point been seats here to do conversate, to have conversations, some sort of meeting room or a place for philosophical debate to happen. And right around that line is where the feelings flips from consecration to a Leo, did you describe that feeling you had to anyone else?
The feeling of nothingness?
Yeah.
Not quite.
Okay.
But if Kalyssdra brings it up, then I could be like, yeah, that's familiar.
So yeah, as soon as you cross that threshold, Kalyssdra, that feeling of nothingness comes back.
I go, Leo, there's something strange over here.
Oh?
And I'll keep walking back and forth. And I'll go, over here, I feel like Heliod. What is the name of the god?
Heliod.
Heliod's presence is still around, but as I just walk past this exact point, there's nothing.
Yes. I felt the same thing with the corpses. There's a lack of anything.
Perhaps we should get the others before we go forward?
Perhaps.
I think about this time, Harmiala and Teoz have arrived back. Found the temple, I should say.
Okay, I can probably sense that they've arrived there with the hippocamp, right?
Yes.
So I let them speak, I guess, through the hippocamp, since I can give it the message that we found something strange up further back in the temple, and if they come up this way to bring the others.
Okay.
It's one of those. I have identify as a ritual, so I admit I'm tempted to just, while that's going on, just try and see if I can identify the box. Because it sounds like there's magic involved. So,
I mean, potentially, yeah. Let me just go ahead and pull up my list of things.
List of things.
List of relevant to the session things, I bet.
Yes. So, are you using identify?
yeah.
Okay. What you can feel inside the box is the box itself is not of note, aside from the fact that it's mechanically constructed in some form or fashion that is hard to open. It is in fact some sort of puzzle box, you could say. But what is inside is what feels like deity-based magic. And it feels like a cloth garment of some kind. Perhaps made of wool. It's a bit difficult to tell through the whole thing. Regardless, it appears to be fairly powerful.
All right.
And it was set aside for someone's protection, or to keep it from getting into hands it didn't want to be got into. So yes, you said, Kalyssdra, you're passing the message along to the others?
Yes.
So yes, you Teoz and Harmiala, you get the message that there is some strange feelings in the back of the temple.
Bring the others.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll do that then.
Yep. That we will. You go first.
All right. Hello, everybody.
Oh, you're back. Have fun.
We discovered a city of the dead that's being, that's currently recruiting, apparently. Probably let people know about that once we're back in town.
They built a massive wall.
Where the city that disappeared used to be. So it's not good.
Probably fine.
But anyway, apparently in the back there's some weird feelings, so I guess we should probably meet up for that.
See.
I mean, I wouldn't know. I don't really do much of the god stuff, so...
Well, we've been here. We do not know what's going on back there.
Well, then let's all meet up then.
Taking the puzzle box.
Okay.
Do you need help opening that?
I figure with a combination of, mage hand and arcana / sleight of hand, it'll eventually.
If only you knew an arcane trickster of some kind.
Or just, crush it between...
Or, you could let me take a look at it. I've got a good intelligence score.
Or you could just crush it.
I could kick it really hard.
I'm pretty sure if it's divinely protected, you're inviting divine retribution of some kind.
Yeah, because
if it's got divine stuff, I should stay away from it.
Yeah, I have Arcana at +6. Sleight of hand is at +2 because I'm not really a good dex base.
I have Dispel Magic.
I don't know if that would work on Magic of the Gods.
Oh no.
Not.
And the magic is inside, I'd say, not the box, from what I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can theoretically open the box without touching the item, but it would be difficult.
Yeah, my offer was to open the box. I don't know where y'all were going at.
I could look at the box and maybe tell you how to open it.
Is now the time?
Who is to say?
This seems like a minor priority.
Is now not the time, though. We don't know if we'll have time later.
Well, if we don't get the chance later, then it won't matter.
All right. So the divine sense feels at the strongest, but all of you can feel some sort of chill running up your spine as you cross that same threshold.
Huh. Is that the weird feeling you were talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Settling.
Particularly Leo and Teoz, you both feel it the hardest.
Us?
So before you, as I said, is sort of it looks like a former discussion area / meeting area for perhaps the people who ran the temple or those who visited. More of a sort of general structure to it. And towards the back, you see there's the normal hallway, and then there are the what looks like freshly dug areas, perhaps, or it's a bit difficult to tell. It's definitely not constructed in the same sort of, or with the same sort of rigidity and purpose that the other walls have. And as you get there and cross down those stairs, you can see, since you are the one in front, Kyros, this star right here is 2 leonin standing stock still. All you see them doing is breathing. Their eyes appear to be glazed over, and they I think I heard a cat. Their eyes appear to be glazed over, and it looks like they haven't eaten in a few days.
That's unpleasant.
They're alive?
They're alive.
Side note, I just found the thing about spell slots, and it looks like I might actually have more. But I'm just going to go with
I checked your
what we have.
I checked your multi-class. No, what you have is what you have.
Yeah, because Warlock spell slots don't factor into the multi-class spell slot thing. They just start separate.
Yeah.
And sorcerers get the multi-classing is weird.
Yep.
I learned a lot about multi-classing today.
I get 3 first slots, so it's what I had. So
yeah.
I guess I'll walk forward and see this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Words are hard.
Words are hard.
Words are super hard when you're basically a sheltered child.
So words are hard. We get
it. I'll go up and approach them.
Right.
And I'll just kind of go, "Are you all right?"
They have no response to you.
They are under something's control.
Right.
I try to touch like their shoulder or something, and hello.
Okay. Give me just a moment to double check how something works.
Uh-oh.
That's always a good sign. That means we get presents.
I'm just thinking because I have, detect magic.
I do too, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm tempted to do a lot of things right now.
Well, you see, I don't need a spell slot for it, so
It's true.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Excuse me.
I'll
Are
use
you-
one. I'll use one of my dailies on it.
Okay. They are both under the command spell.
Hmm.
Oh
And
yeah,
that-
I have that spell, so I sort of know.
And that command appears to have been halt.
Must be a pretty strong command.
Okay, I don't have dispel magic.
I do though. I was trying to find it again so I could read it.
I don't have it prepared. I'll look back at Kyros and go. They're under spell.
I can attempt. And I guess I'll try and use dispel magic on them.
All right. It works.
Yay.
And the two leonins sort of immediately drop to their knees. And they look like it looks like the past several days are finally like coming into focus for them, like the realization of what's happened, where are we, oh god.
Yeah. The you'd think the lack of being able to eat or drink would
I'm
be direct harm, but must be a very
handing
strong
them
command
both
spell.
one of each one of the 10 rations that I.
We've all got
Um
rations, I'm sure.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm closer though.
Yeah, they'll gladly take any food and water you have, and yeah, with a 20 you can get them sort of
Okay.
back on their feet, and they look terrified, and it's very clear from the look on their face it has nothing to do with who it was that finally found them.
Okay.
Can you
Do
tell
you
us
know?
what happened?
Yeah.
They will both look to each other, and one will sort of like close his eyes, place his palms over them, and just you see him actually digging into his skull a bit with his claws as he's trying to remember exactly what happened, while the other one just sort of it's clear that he's trying his hardest to forget what he saw. And I think between the two of them, you get the following information. The beast had the beast was brilliantly white, and it had 2 heads. And I think that's about the full extent of the information they can give you, because they're not used to talking for a while, not doing super great, and clearly super stressed out.
And we're probably jumped by this thing.
Yeah, and we're definitely jumped by this thing. And I'll say that you recognize them as some members of the hunting party that was previously mentioned.
Oh dear, something's been prowling the plains.
Can you
We
walk?
sort of knew that.
Can they walk, is what you asked?
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
The two men nod, and they sort of stumble, but it's clear that between the two of them, like each supporting the other, they can move out of this area and away.
Yeah, I'll help them up through the stairs part and point out, like, to keep at least keep don't come further than where that line was.
Okay. Yeah.
Could I roll nature or history to see if I've heard of anything that fits that description in my studies?
I'll move the 2 leonin hereabouts. I'll actually give them tokens now.
Oh.
And I also should probably get one for your hippocamp. Because
we
the
could've
steed didn't just go away.
Could have just dismissed that, but okay.
No, we need it for.
Always with the pets.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
a
get it.
hippocamp, please.
I mean, the hippocamp could also potentially take the men back.
Yeah, it could.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's actually a very good reason.
Yeah,
Find is an awesome spell.
I'll go ahead and send the hippocamp over to them and tell it to just make sure that they are okay before going and to keep them safe when bringing them back to the polis.
Okay. They will do that. Your hippocamp will do that in taking them back to Atmos. All right. So would you like to proceed a bit further? Oh, right. Sorry. Someone was gonna roll for thinking.
Yeah, history or nature.
Um,
Because it's a creature,
It is a creature.
but might
I
be
would say-
remembering studies.
I would say nature seems the more relevant one here.
All right. Not great.
I'll go ahead and roll it as well.
All right.
Is there any
Oh God.
Is there any indication around us of like footprints, paw prints, what have you, or like
God.
where anything could have gone?
So I will say this. Wow, this is
We all rolling nature? All right.
yeah.
I'm cursed. I don't know what's wrong with y'all.
This is literally my specialty, and
Hey.
I don't know what you guys were having such a problem with.
this is literally what I built this character to do, is to know
I
these kinds
know.
of things, and it rolled a natural one.
Yeah.
Maybe this one's just hard.
Okay, let me go through a few. Let me cut it down real fast. The problem that all of you who had 10 or less dealt with is there are too many two-headed things on Theros.
Could I make a religion check?
with
And it's there's enough things that are furred and two-headed that it's it could be this, but it could also be this, but it could also be this.
and there's probably quite a few that can use magic as well.
Yeah,
fly.
definitely. Yep, and
Yeah.
there's the other side effect of when you get if it's a god-based thing, which it doesn't seem like it, but if it was, then that opens up just 1,000 new doors. With a 22 Harmiala, I think you are able to sort of narrow your focus down. And it comes up with 2, maybe 3 really strong contenders. It could be some form of chimera.
Oh joy.
On.
Are you making a note or something?
Hmm?
I heard a hold on.
No. I
Nope.
said fun.
I think that was fun.
Oh, sorry, I heard hold on. My apologies. So it could be a chimera of some kind. It could also be what was that other one? No more hippocamp. It could also potentially be there's a few constructs that Perforos has made over the years that have lost their connection to him and gone sort of wild. Or it could potentially be an archon.
A what?
An archon.
Those
will-
XCOM aliens.
if Harmiala brings that up, I'll have everyone roll a history roll.
Yeah,
to see what they know about
I'd be telling people this. I wouldn't be. This isn't something you should keep to herself.
Finally, my curse is broken!
Yay! I'm also gonna say that Leo and Teoz get advantage on this roll.
Oh, nice.
So, history for everyone.
Nice.
Too bad I already... Oh, hey, that's a nat 20.
No.
You know,
Two nat 20s. No, that is a unnatural 20 and a net.
Yeah, unnatural 20
Yay
and
for
natural
advantage.
20. Yeah.
Okay. So, let me look at them in order. We've got a 19, we got a 6, we have an 11, we have a 20, we have a 9, and a 23. So I'm going to say 6, 9, 11. You know the most basic thing about Archons, which is that they used to be more of a thing, and they aren't anymore.
It might be this thing. Do you know what that is? No.
It's you know what it is because like the baseline history is like a couple hundred years ago, Archon were trying to rule the entire world with an iron fist.
I saw it in a bedtime story.
Like everyone kind of knows what Archons are, and like the gods still occasionally make some, but they used to be not affiliated with gods at all.
Oh.
The 19 and 20, you know this specific thing about them. Way back in the day, Miletus used to not be a god-based city. It was ruled by an archon named Agnomachos, and he was pretty much the sole archon trying to absolutely take over everything. And it was a very much the thing about Archon, what you know about them is that they believe they serve a higher law than the gods.
Impossible.
And Leo with a nat 20.
I thought that name sounded familiar.
Leo with a nat 20, you know this about Agnomachos, which is also putting things into perspective. Agnomachos had great control of magic that he used to make leonin into his servants to help procure his rule.
Yep. Leonin suffered at the hands of the tyrant Agnomachos. It's right there in their Pride and Self-Reliance section.
Yep.
Okay. Who wants to bet that he's the one building the City of the Dead up north?
It might not be Agnomachos, just an Archon.
I'll say Agnomachos was definitely killed.
Yeah.
Like, he is 100% dead.
Okay, so an Archon who has been... I don't know, infected by his ambition and is looking for revenge, perhaps.
Possibly. There's still a little further to go in the cave, in the ruins of the temple, I should say.
I'm going to flavor text Leo knowing that, despite not being in a pride or anything, in that he did some research, did a lot of research on the leonin to make sure he didn't stand out.
I mean, at some point you would have had to interact with other leonin as you were going up, so... Or as you were establishing yourself.
Or not.
I'm not sure if... I'm not entirely sure if Leo grew up or if he just appeared.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
An explorer like that.
So, he did some research.
The stars told me.
So Kyros, you are moving further in, it seems.
Yes.
It's the what natural light there was from the sort of shattered ceilings and such is fading, and it smells of blood back here.
Yes.
cool and normal.
So I
There's
say someone guard.
blood ahead.
All right, I'm gonna head around this way because escape routes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm gonna do my at-will mage armor just in case.
Quiet slithering.
I'll move up
That's an invocation.
in this
There's never
direction
really
then.
a reason to not do it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Yeah, I've already got my infusions up, so
Yeah, in this case, it's I took a dark vision one just to be on the safe side, because otherwise I would have taken the detect magic or increased range. But I figured we weren't going to be dealing too much with mile long attack path.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what? As you sort of enter, you can see that this space is in fact occupied.
What's occupying it?
A winged lion about twice the size of any of the humanoids, and a faceless figure in full armor wielding two what appears to have two scythes, not scythes, but like small scythe-like swords. Yeah, like scimitars or more like khepeshes. And let me see if I can go ahead and pull up the image of what it is you're looking at.
So
I will say that currently it is not awake is not the right term, because it's not the winged lion is sleeping, but the Archon itself appears to be just sitting motionless on top of its mount.
So how high are the ceilings here?
Fairly. I would say roughly like 40 feet high. And you can see on the back wall, past the pile of food, for the
Define
winged lion.
food.
I'm not going to define it any more than the pile of food for the winged lion.
Okay.
Is the name Agnomakos, and the phrase "justice will prevail."
yeah, all right.
Which I linked in the chat, is roughly what you're looking at.
I see.
Neat.
That is really cool.
Pretty big scythe there.
Quick aside, if I
Yeah,
may.
that's really capacious.
Let me see if I can get that on my local stream.
I'll see if I can put it on. I don't think that particular art is in here, unfortunately, but I will check.
I can't.
No, there's a different Archon.
Yeah, I can just.
But yeah, Dan, I was going to ask, is the thing in front of me a door? And if so, is it unlocked? And can I walk through it?
It's a door, but it's opened. It's like the actual wood part of the door has long since rotted and fallen through.
So yeah,
so it's a door frame.
Yeah, it's a door frame, basically.
I just didn't want to move my character through it in case it was like locked or like on fire.
No worries.
This is what we're looking at. It's terrifying.
It's
and
awesome.
extremely cool.
Yes.
It is really cool.
That art comes from a card called Ashen Rider, which I would like to read the flavor text for you real fast, if I may.
Go for it.
Oh dear.
One offering to appease her on her arrival, another to celebrate her departure. When Ashen Rider enters the battlefield or dies, exile target permanent.
Oh. That's not good for us.
Good times.
No.
So what does exile do in this sense?
I didn't base it on the card.
Okay, good.
The art was so cool, how could I not use it?
But we are basically fighting an Ashen Rider.
Yes, basically. And I will say this, like, you definitely currently aren't prepared for it.
Yeah.
So
We got this.
Perhaps
also-
we should back up
Yeah.
before it notices us.
There is a giant horse, a bunch of lions, and a snake monster.
It's not,
Pretty
you're not a
sure it
giant
knows we're here.
horse. You're not a giant horse.
you're a medium horse.
You're a pony.
There is a horse, a couple
Like
lions,
7
a fish,
feet.
a snake,
You
and
are-
a metal goat.
You could almost say you're my little pony.
I will stab you to death, you own kid.
I
Well,
wasn't
there's-
going to go there.
Either this thing has noticed us or it hasn't, and either it's attacking us or it isn't.
If it's noticed you, it's not currently reacting.
Yeah. So
I still reiterate we
What do
should.
we call that? Gygax's fork?
Uh-oh.
at any rate, part of this is kind of looking at the clock and going, how this is probably going to be a long fight. And we could stand to be better prepared. But I know this would turn it into from a 1-shot to like a 2-shot, probably.
Possibly. I mean, we did start late, and I have a lot of details. So I'm fine running a second one if necessary. The only issue is that I think I'm going to be gone that weekend, but the 28th,
Well, we can do something else and then come back to it.
possibly.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, or we could just push on late and just do this.
Possibly.
I honestly have nothing against that, but I know you guys are much further ahead time-wise than me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning as a heads up. So going super late is not something I would really like to do.
Yeah. You should probably go to bed soonish.
No, I'm fine. 11 is my limit, but I'm saying that late is not.
Mm-hmm.
Just call in sick. It'll be fine.
I-
No one will notice.
Yeah.
My occupation does not allow that in the current client.
No.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, fair enough.
Especially no,
You work in
sir.
medical care. Oopsie daisy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Among
I'd be
other
fine
things,
with the
you might want
two-shot
to
if
know
you
what
can
its
get it.
weaknesses are before you try to hit it.
That is also true.
So,
I still reiterate. we should back
history,
up.
nature.
I reckon its weakness is a fist.
Religion.
I would say history or nature. You can do either to sort of get an idea of it.
Cool. No advantage or disadvantage?
No, none here.
All right.
Woo!
Some decent rolls.
What is its origin?
I'm gonna just put my dice away.
Its origin?
Like aberration, fae, fiend, undead, that sort of thing.
They are both celestials.
Oh,
Oh.
And could I do a religion check for it?
I
I don't feel for Theros rolling a celestial for a not god is quite right in this case. If that
Okay.
makes sense. I'm sorry about that.
oh, well, okay, sure. Just
So-
natural 20s all around for leonin.
All right. Okay. So we've got a 7, a 20, a 22, a 10, a 25, 23. Oh, so you rolled twice?
ignore that second one. I wanted to see how cursed I was.
Oh, okay. And a
Very
19.
cursed.
All right. So Kalyssdra and Kyros, unfortunately, you don't know quite enough about these particular monsters to really get a feel for it. However, Clopin, Teoz, Harmiala, and Leo, you know this much as a being primarily focused on justice, order, and law, that it takes some severe it takes those sorts of feelings being twisted in some capacity to actually start dealing it harm. Things it's blades tested on the innocent can damage it. Weapons that deal with defying laws, especially the sort of laws of the world itself.
So my fists might work.
Potentially. But the biggest thing that you know is that it is not it's the Archon and the Mount both have different things that strike them. Different things that affect them in particular ways. But the Mount, for example, is much more capable of dealing with the things of the physical world, while the Archon is capable of dealing with more ambiguous forces. But both take both are damaged by the greatest source of the rules of the world being twisted, and that is necrotic energy from Erebos himself.
Yeah, I figured it was going to be something along those lines.
Not the best party for this.
The best I can give you is necrotic damage.
That could potentially do something, but it may take a bit more to really kick it up a notch.
So we're
all right.
This is a bit out of our league at the moment.
Might be able to deal a small amount of damage, being that I'm not supposed to be in this world. But
slightly pushing everyone behind my snake butt backwards.
Yeah, let's check out this area.
Well, there goes my cave in everything plan.
I think.
Yeah, I mean,
think she survived that.
Yeah,
I like a challenge.
That would have been cool, though.
But I know when I cannot win. Usually.
Sometimes.
You will be able to at some point, and you are all heroes, but the issue is you may not be ready to face it just this moment.
You can't quite
we
do metaphysical damage yet.
It's like going up against something in The Witcher when its level is in red and it has a lovely red skull next to its name.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Most of us, maybe all of us, haven't tested our weapons on innocent people.
Sorry. One thing I meant to sort of get at with that was, you might not have, but there might be weapons out there that have been, and things that defy the sort of laws of the world. You encountered a not insignificant amount of those on your way here.
Yeah. Those guys.
Right. Yeah. I see what you did there. That was clever.
So we gather an army of returned.
It will be. I will say it's going to be difficult to get an army of the returned, but you might be able to. You might be able to make use of the returns to get some things you need.
Yeah.
I bet we just lasso a couple.
Leave me here and I will
launch them into the temple and see what happens.
Just travel to the return city and be like, "Hey, did you guys bring any weapons back by any chance?"
So the room that you have found is what appears to be a former treasury. And the stars all represent pedestals that appeared to have had something on them. You see in the room there are actually busts of the 5 major gods, Heliod, Thassa, Erebos, Perforos, and Nylea. And all of them are smashed.
Mm-hmm.
Presumably by the Archon. What a good save.
I managed to not scream in anger.
Probably good.
I'm staring at that plus 12, my
Aura
friend.
of protection.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And a +4 charisma.
Yeah.
Mine's
I
only
guess-
my save is only a +10. But-
Yeah, if you're next to me and you need to make a saving throw, we need to remember that too.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I have a
Me.
I have a +9 to con saves.
Yeah.
Does it stack or no?
Plus 8 to wisdom.
I believe it saves. It does stack actually.
All right.
I actually think it
So
doesn't. I think it
standing
takes
with-
whatever's
yeah.
higher.
Well,
Okay.
I'd have to check. Anyways, that particular one, roll investigation for me.
Me?
Referring to Leo, he's the one.
Oh, okay.
There. You can also roll investigation to see what else you find in the room. Anyone in there can roll investigation if they so desire.
I'm probably investigating the Thassa
Eh.
one.
ah,
Yay!
I'm good at this.
Okay, this is actually doing some stuff that I'm fascinated by. Okay, 5, 7, 10. You find some trinkets. You find some fairly nice looking weaponry. Nothing that would blow your mind. It's much more decorative than it is much more decorative than it is used for combat, but you actually do each find a replica of a god's weapon. Not imbued with any magic, just a replica of the weapons.
Something I
Um,
said.
Since
And,
all of this has been desecrated, I'm taking any of the Thassa stuff with me so it can go to somewhere better.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Kyros with an 18. You see the shadow of the pedestal where Erebos's bust was is longer than it should be.
What?
The pedestals are all in the same location, or not the same location, but near each other. And the Erebos shadow does not end quite where the others would based on how the light is entering the room from above. It appears to be just a touch darker and extends just a bit further beyond the wall, if that makes sense. It doesn't go up the wall. It looks like it goes under it.
Is there anything behind the bus?
No.
so where is that bust?
Which
I'm gonna make a pointer. The busts are basically in an arc over here.
Okay.
With Heliod in the center, of course, and then Thassa and Erebos and Perforos and Nylea on the edges. But basically, the Erebos one is, here's how I'm going to use another pointer to sort of describe it. The Erebos statue starts here, but the shadow goes into the wall without ever going up it. But it looks like the wall is completely solid.
touch the
And-
wall?
Yes, you can touch the wall.
What?
Very briefly, you notice a shimmer of starlight in the shadow.
I touch the
poke it.
shadow.
I poke it with my mage hand.
I'm touching it with my tail. I don't know.
Okay.
Roll a con save.
So someone is touching it with their tail and someone is touching it with their mage hand.
Yes. Yes.
The mage hand enters the shadow like it is going into a whole other physical space. And yes, Kyros, roll a con save.
Right. So
you get it. Oh!
Closest praise!
Also an additional +3 from being within 10 feet of Leo.
I know, it's a 26. It's a lot.
Maybe even a 30 if Kalyssdra is
no.
also within 10 feet, but it looks like the answer to that is
No, I was over at the Thassa one.
Yeah.
My god says no.
Your god does indeed say no. Let me reread some Oracle stuff real fast.
Ooh, doggy.
Oh, I love making things complicated. AKA fun.
All right, I need to whisper something to Kyros. I apologize for the silence.
Oh boy.
Ba-da-ba-da, boop, ba-doop, boop.
Mother.
Boop, boop, ba-doo, boop, ba-doo, boop, ba-doo, boop, ba-doo, boop. There is a little cat. There is. I have a guest.
All right then.
Sir, are you aware that you're a cat, sir?
I mean,
Listen, one day I'm going to make a character for a one shot and no one's going to realize it, and it's going to be my cat.
mhm.
It's just going to entirely be my cat. Because why not? Because that would be fun.
Apologies. I'm basically having to do a whole conversation right now.
It's okay. I'm trying to like not make silence.
I mean, it still gets cut in the final thing.
Yeah,
I
making a note here. 231.
So, cats, huh?
Yeah, cats.
Cats are pretty cool.
Cats are pretty cool.
Love those wacky cats.
We should have a game where everyone's just a tabaxi.
I mean, in this game, 2 of us are pretty much just big fighty cats.
And there's probably a system that's basically like this. Everyone is just a house cat, and we're doing crazy shenanigans while the owner's not at home.
I mean, I know there's
cats
Pugmire and
There's cats in catacombs.
Cats in catacombs, and there's a Pugmire variant that is everyone is cats. Which I mean that's pretty much what you're saying.
Is it?
The wife got me the actual physical figurines for cats in catacombs, and they're the coolest things. There is a really big fluffy cat that's the barbarian one, and it's just great, and I love it.
I want to see a photo of that, good sir.
I will do that at some point, or I'll just Google it. Actually, Googling it's probably quicker.
Fun thing I found in your related videos to the loot version, I found playing it on the accordion.
Huh. I'm not surprised by that. So yes, Kyros will hear that thing that I sent him. And then the shadow will fade back into normalcy.
Sorry, I'm processing.
You are free to so this echoed in your head. This is something that 100% could be spoken out loud in Celestial if you so desire.
Oh, you mean that one oracle thing?
Mm-hmm.
I totally want to do that.
Okay.
It's fun.
Who knows Celestial?
I do.
And make everything unsettling as all hell.
Okay.
I still have a slot open, as it were, but
do you have the time to do that?
Well, the thing is, I have combination of
there was
spells,
a language
but
we
I have
hadn't chosen.
yeah, I hadn't chosen one of my known languages.
Yeah, I'd say two of you can know I think two of you knowing Celestial and being there is fine.
I also had a language I didn't pick.
I don't know. I need to look at the Oath of Glory Paladin languages. I don't have any idea.
I feel like Celestial in this sort of
because my background gave me a language, and I didn't realize that.
Celestial will make sense.
Celestial makes sense with everything in this sort of like
world, yeah.
World. Which, if I didn't automatically get it, I was totally going to take it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. I'll take Celestial.
Okay.
An athlete that learned Celestial for some reason.
I mean, you could know it just from being a Nyxborn.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Now, I don't know if me adding it myself will actually.
It could be that Common is the language you learned.
It could be.
Maybe you just don't know Common.
I do, though. It looks like it does.
Yeah,
it does work, because I can attest that I can understand that.
Hooray!
Yep.
In that case, I think there's enough of you that you can just read it out loud if you want.
I could.
Or would you like me to do voices?
You know, you're such a great voice person, my dude. I feel like I would just be horrid and I would start laughing.
You wouldn't be horrid, but if you want me to do the reading, I can do that.
Please, sir.
Then this is in the voice of the gods and not your own voice.
Erebos, you said our bargain was assured. I would guard the worst of your wards, and you would not interfere with my chosen. Dear Clothis, all chosen are mine. All things will die, and all the dead belong to me. But this child is not yet past. His destiny is still to come. But that destiny is reliant on my power, Clothis. And their destiny alone is nothing compared to the destiny of the world itself.
And that was the full extent of the conversation that happened in about the span of what looked like a minute to y'all observing.
Completely off topic. Holy fuck, that was great.
Thank you.
I know, right?
Yeah, props.
It is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, also, I do have Comprehend Language as one of my spells, but I'm not casting it right now.
Fair enough. Yeah, I do believe that Vermi is familiar with one of those voices.
Oh.
Because kind of Dr. Iskin in Erebos.
Oh, of course. Okay. Yes.
Anyways, so yeah. This is clearly a big deal.
But what do we even do about it?
Mm-hmm.
That was weird.
I think it's clear that Erebos is willing to help. It's just a matter of what it's going to cost.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah. And just on that, that sort of thing. Who has proficiency for the different weapons of the gods? The replicas at any rate.
I don't know. I've just got proficiency for all weapons, simple and martial.
I do have the same proficiency for the same weapon Thassa uses.
Not touching weapons of the gods.
You might have to if we want to kill this
These
thing.
were the replicas that were in the temple.
They still might be touched by gods.
They're not in this case.
Okay.
You can tell they are not touched by gods. They're just, in reverence to the gods.
And we may need a god's help to give us the kind of damage that we need, the kind of unholy, unlawful damage that we need to hurt this Archon. So
the unclaimed weapons, I don't know what Din has them as, listed for, but spear, bow and arrow, whip, and hammer.
Spear, bow and arrow, whip, hammer, and
the Bident that Vermin
has
claimed.
Yep.
Is whip a simple weapon?
Let me double check. Whip 5e.
I think it's martial.
Martial melee.
Oh,
It is a
Damn.
martial weapon. Which makes sense because a whip's kind of hard to actually use as a weapon.
Yeah.
So who wants to claim the black weapon?
What's that?
The whip.
That's the whip.
Oh.
So the spear is associated with Heliod, the bident with Thassa, the hammer with Perforos, the whip with Erebos, and the bow and arrow with Nylea.
My style is great weapon fighting, so I need something two-handed.
Yeah.
I can use short swords and simple weapons, so whatever fits into that, I'll take.
I
mean-
multiple weapons.
You could take the light hammer if it's a light hammer. If it's a war hammer,
It's
Bigger issue is that
war-
Kyros is not okay.
I will say the weapon, the replica of Perforos's weapon is very much like heavy great hammer.
okay.
So who gets the red aligned in this case? Surprisingly, not the person who was built by Perforos.
You were built for finer things.
Yeah.
If you're going by colors, Clothis is red and green.
Yeah.
So
Well, Teoz could use the warhammer, right? And you make stuff.
there was the whip, warhammer, trident,
Bow and arrow.
spear, and bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Those 5?
Yep.
All right. I'll pass on getting a weapon.
Kyros does not want a weapon.
Well, neither does Leo.
There is,
Well, the
there
thing
is,
is, you
there is
you
no
could
proper
take-
representation in the selection.
well, true. You'd
can
be
we
the
do-
best for bow and arrow, I'd say.
I don't
Can we
think I
do
could
damage
that.
without these weapons, though?
Yeah, the
Efficiently?
These are here's the thing. These are replicas. They're not guaranteed to do anything right now,
Mm.
and they're not necessarily guaranteed to do anything to the Archon because
There's an assumption being made here, guys.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's a big assumption being made here that the weapons are going to do anything.
Oh,
'Cause
Well,
they are just
I can.
replicas.
Yeah, I could technically use short bow or
But I mean-
spear.
If we're
There
getting,
is
if we're
nothing
getting,
that we've stated that they're going to do anything, or that they're anything better.
Well,
than
it's
we
one of
already
those.
have.
If
I'll-
we're sorting them out,
I'll put it this way. I did not build this encounter so that you had to absolutely have a weapon of the gods. And it's built that there are ways you can sort of sword oil this situation.
if Erebus is helping us out with the right oil for this particular monster, then can't we just apply that to the weapons we already have?
Yeah,
Okay, then.
that's the thing. But again, it's a matter of like you're gonna have to get with Erebos and you're gonna have to figure out what to do.
Oh, yeah.
And I would rather not come into direct contact with a god.
You're never going to come in direct contact with a god. You're going to commune with a god.
I would rather not even do that.
oh, he's one of the. Oh yeah, he's God of the Dead. Yeah, I'm cool with this.
Yeah, I figured this would be like right up your alley.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not. Harmiala isn't exactly what you call like super religious, but
No.
she's not exactly gonna say no.
Fine. So I will. I'll say one thing. I'll say is that also the leonin and the hippocamp. The hippocamp is back. Both leonin are gone. Like they both made it home. Okay.
Woo.
So good work on that one. But hippocamp here to lead the way. It's also getting later in the day at this point. It's probably close to with all the exploring and whatnot. It's probably about mid-afternoon. And from what you've heard, the Archon has been attacking mostly at night. So
Well, maybe we should hurry over to that city.
potentially.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a mile away-ish.
A city of the dead is probably
it's-
the best place to go searching for favors from the god of the dead. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we can
Will
probably get there in
Kyros
like
be able
It's
to
20 minutes.
resist killing all of them?
okay. Let me.
That is a question.
There's actually two different things I need to say here. One, Erebos does not think fondly of the returned.
Oh, right. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But the returned might be able to give you, because they are defying the laws of the world, might be able to give you forms of sword oil or sword oil or whatnot to effectively combat it.
Yeah.
Miletus definitely has. Miletus has temples to every single god in it. So if you wanted to, and they're large temples to every single god. So if you wanted to big talk with Erebos, that might be one of the better places to do it. So you got kind of a crossroads here you can do.
Definitely gonna do the one that involves not talking with the god.
I'd prefer the one going to the temple.
I'm on the temple side too, actually.
Split the party. You guys
What?
can go talk with your gods. I'll go get
I don't.
a
I'm an
not
iconoclast. I
god
don't care.
affiliated weapon.
With
The problem is I don't think the returned are going to be willingly. I gut feeling says the returned aren't going to be willingly helpful,
Well,
which could prove more of an issue than anything else.
But the genuine issue with the gods besides just, Leo hating them is that there will be an exchange of some kind.
Well, I mean, you say that like there's not going to be some sort of exchange for the weapons if we go to the returned. And what they want
Potentially
could
true,
be
yeah.
could be way more immediate than whatever the god wants.
Possibly. I'll say a general thing about the returned is that emotionally, they kind of stick with emotionally they kind of stick in one zone. So like that city I mentioned previously, Ordunos, basically every returned there is angry, but not every returned is angry, and they tend to gather towards with the same sort of emotional state, I guess. So it's really a matter of figuring out what the new Iridas is emotionally, if that makes sense.
So we could go and they could all be happy-go-lucky, or we could go and they could be angry, murderous psychopaths.
well,
I'm thinking
Yeah.
that Clopin would probably go to the Temple of Crufix for, working on this box.
Fair enough.
Because, life's mysteries moment.
Yeah, it's definitely something that is in your god's wheelhouse. Just might not be the most immediately
Mhm.
relevant thing.
I think kind of an understated question under all this is, are we willing to let another night pass and potentially another murder go?
well, if the city's only a mile away, then we can get there and back within an hour. Probably. And that's just walking.
It's further than a mile. It's just
Okay.
that the wall was exceptionally large.
And they'll
Gotcha.
be navigating it both physically and
Socially.
wise. Yeah, to socially.
Diplomatically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or we can
And yeah,
just
we
go straight to a god, yeah. And make it and strike a bargain.
Which will also be
Yeah.
fraught.
I will
I
say,
mean, both of our options are bad. I'm not going to say either of them are great.
Greek mythology.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I think I would prefer not letting another night pass and trying to go for the more assuredly expedient option.
And we can always, like, even if we go the god route, if we really decide we hate whatever their offer is, we can always tell them to bugger off and walk away. Or at least attempt to tell them to bugger off and walk away.
See, Leo just wants to stay out of sight of the gods.
Then
Or
don't
out of
come
the
into the temple.
That is the point. Yeah, he's not going to go in the temple. And so, if he doesn't get a weapon from the returned, then he's just going to be in the back lines supporting, which isn't really his style.
But we're also making the assumption that getting something from the sorry, wait, do we know for a fact that if we get something from the return that it'll help? Or is that still a guesstimate?
That's
That's
an
assumption.
It's an assumption, but it's the same sort of assumption that something from Erebos will help. Like,
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
It's a really strong assumption.
Yeah, especially if
it's an
they brought the
educated
weapon
guess,
with
right?
them when they passed over.
Actually, did we see any of them with weapons when they were milling around? When me and Spud went and...
I already
Some
I
of the
think
ones
we
that
already
were
checked
entering
that.
the city, yes.
Yeah.
None of the ones that you saw near the temple, but some of the ones entering the city, it looked like. And it looked like, there might have been a patrol of some kind up at the top of the wall.
Right, cool, yep. I thought that was what the case was, but I'm like, I want to double check just in case I'm completely misremembering stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think our best bet is the god, just for expedience sake.
Well, how far away is the temple as opposed to
Oh,
the
it's going
return
back,
city?
it's going back to town.
Yeah, but how long did that take us versus how long would it take us?
So to get to Miletus would be a slightly longer trip. I would say it would probably tack on an additional hour. So I would say to get to the City of the Dead and back would probably be 3 hours both ways, like 3 hours in total, and probably about 4 hours to get to Miletus and back.
And
All right, so 3 hour round.
on top of navigating the place socially.
Yeah.
So almost equalized.
It would be the middle of the night.
Yeah.
By the time we got back from the City of the Dead, it would probably be like late evening by the time we got back from.
Yeah, that would be the best bet. Is it's
From the
by the
temple.
time you got back from either location, it will probably be approaching nightfall, if it isn't nightfall already.
If I ran full tilt,
Uh-huh.
how fast could I get to the temple? If I just booked it.
So you can move 210 feet in 6 seconds
Isn't it? 70 doubled.
with your key points is 210. Oh, I guess you have to spend a key point to do that. So
Yeah, so if I dash as an action, it doubles to 140.
40.
yeah.
And then
So-
doubled again, so it'd be 280.
So feet per second is 140 feet per second. That's 95 miles an hour.
What the shit?
Huh.
Harmiala goes
Wait,
vroom.
wait. That's feet per second, not feet per 6 seconds. Okay, that makes more sense to me.
Oh
I was
my
about to
God.
say, wait a goddamn minute.
I'm a
Still,
race car now.
That's 23. Okay, it's 15 miles per hour. That's much more reasonable.
I don't know. I like.
start to question. It's like, is your skin still attached to your body at that point? With you zooming that
every
fast?
time someone calculates feet per movement speed into miles per hour, there's always a mistake somewhere.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. It's my issue is just the it's around is 6 seconds, not 1 second. So, yeah, I believe it's like 23 point something. So it'll be like maybe 16 miles an hour at most, which is very fast for something that is just sort of steady, but maybe not so fast for a horse.
I mean,
Faster than us.
Yeah, no, faster than us.
yeah. I was a sprinter in middle school, and my top speed while sprinting was about 16 or so miles per hour.
Mm-hmm.
But that was not
speed.
sustained at all. Yeah. Top speed for maybe
6 seconds.
Yeah, I got 23.8.
Yeah, definitely less than a minute. Less than 30 seconds.
It says 23.8 for calculating it out. Going with 210 divided by 6 is 35.
We don't need to get bogged down in math here.
Yeah.
No, I want this
horseback.
calculated down to the second, damn it. I want to brag to my friends.
If you ran full tilt,
You would be very tired by the end.
Oh yeah, no, I'd definitely be suffering levels of exhaustion.
yeah, you would take some levels of exhaustion for doing that, but you would be back before sundown. You would have time. You would have time to take a short rest. Is how I'm going to phrase it.
Of course, that is only you.
Mm-hmm.
How many levels of exhaustion would I take?
Let me double check the exhaustion rules just to see what would be extremely reasonable here.
I've been playing a Frenzy Barbarian, so I've actually been having to pay attention to what exhaustion does for a change.
Mm-hmm. I would say that by the end of it, you would have 2 levels of exhaustion.
Ouch.
No, that's only disadvantage on ability checks, so my speed would be halved. So that's not awful.
Which seems reasonable for, I just ran a shit ton. Is my speed is now less.
The question I'd have is how many key points would I spend?
All
how
of
many?
them.
Oh, how many key? That's spending no key points.
That's spending. Oh,
That's just your base speed and dash.
That is your base
That's
speed and
just
dash.
dashing the whole way there and back.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And you've got what, 10 key points at level 10?
Yeah.
And you can spend 1 per round on a dash?
Well, yeah, because I can dash as my action, and then I can spend a key point to dash again.
As a bonus.
So you
As a
could do
bonus.
that.
Probably save your key points for,
So you
fighting.
could double dash for 1 minute.
Because, yeah, if I'm double dashing, then I'm up in the 200 range. If I'm just normal dashing, I'm only at 140.
Yeah, probably not worth it in a marathon.
Yeah.
I will say this. If you spend 5 key points, you will take no exhaustion.
Oh, that's tempting. Oh, that's so tempting. You know what? All right. We'll I mean, what's other people's opinion on this plan before I run off and go be dumb?
I mean, how much do you need on ability checks for the fight itself?
I mean, those are mostly saving throws and attack rolls, which are exhaustion level 3.
Yeah, like it's not disastrous if I get exhaustion, but I definitely go faster if I use them.
But considering we're looking at fighting like 2 beings in a rather small space, or maybe out in the plains.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get them indoors, we're going to be so much better off.
Yeah.
Especially if they have a flying mount.
And if
Well,
if they fly away from us, we're probably not catching them on foot anyway.
I can earthbind the lion so it doesn't fly away.
Oh, well,
Unless-
yeah, it solves that problem.
Here's the thing that you would all know as denizens of Theros.
Mm-hmm.
There is a common saying that nothing is out of the reach of Erebos's whip.
Ah. Well,
I'll leave it up to you guys if you want me to run ahead, or we can continue working out other plans. Up to you guys.
if whatever sort of thing you get from the temple is in fact touched by the gods, then Leo's gonna not be using it.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
Unless if I just get a party-wide blessing.
But also, if you run ahead and you're doing this, you're alone.
Yeah, that's the other issue. But I'm probably the best suited to be
Well, I was going
to
to
get
say,
away if I'm on my own.
Well, the thing that is snatching things out of the sky is here in the temple, which we're all standing next to. If it takes off, we'll know.
So
No, more of like, even if it's like a party-wide thing, I don't think it would be party-wide blessing that would cross distances.
So which was
I don't know,
further
it's a
again?
god. I don't know what it can do.
I think that would be too easy.
Was the temple farther away than the City of the Dead, or was the City of the Dead farther away?
The City of the Dead was a 3-hour round trip, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, 3 versus 4.
Yeah, the temple's
Yeah.
closer and doesn't have the challenge of navigating the
It's a
the emotional state.
It's
No,
a
because the temple's back in town.
Yeah.
The temple
Isn't it?
is in Miletus, which is 4 hours away. The
Yeah.
City of the Dead is 3 hours away from your location.
Oh.
It's essentially
Right.
equal in the sense of if we go back to town, we don't have to go through a rigmarole of getting to the temple to commune. But if we go to the City of the Dead, then we have to navigate that, which basically makes the whole trip equal.
Yeah.
I had that the other way around. Okay.
What I'm getting at is there are approximately equal options, and you can also do both.
Yep.
Alright, so I guess we should make a decision. What do you guys want to do? We have the option of everyone travels to one location, we split the party, or we split the party 2 different ways.
I think Leo's going to make this difficult and insist on going to the City of the Dead, which means we either have to split or I'll choose that one.
Well,
I'll
If
make this
you
even
guys-
more difficult that if we go to the City of the Dead, Kyros cannot make any promises that he won't do something stupid.
Okay, we're splitting the party then.
so yeah.
So
If you guys want to just send Harmiala to the temple, then Leo he will accept just being on the back lines, not being able to do damage, but I'm not sure how good he'll be at.
Now, let's make sure everyone can participate in this fight.
Mhm.
Any of the wizards have any speed boosts they can chuck on me?
Actually, that is a good thing. I do have Longstride, which I can touch a creature to increase its speed by 5 feet for an hour. Or by 10
Okay.
feet for an hour.
I thought I had the spell. Why don't I have it? That's upsetting.
However, to
Oh.
cast it on all 6 of us, I would need a 6th level spell slot, and I only have a 4 level spell slot, so I would need to cast it at least twice. Which would burn 2 of my spell slots.
I mean, if you cast it on me, that puts me to 80 feet.
It does. But also, you'll be getting there ahead of us regardless.
Yeah,
Or we
because
could
you're going
travel
one way.
in 2 split groups.
Yeah, because I'm not going to City of the Dead.
No, I
Without
definitely
being
think I definitely think you should go to the city. I don't understand what could possibly go wrong with that decision.
I have Destroy
Although-
Undead at this point.
Yeah, you do.
And
Hmm.
honestly, like, Harmiala, I trust your abilities, but negotiating with a god alone is maybe not a wise idea.
You might not be enough. Like,
I say,
not just like I'm not talking charisma wise. I am talking purely on you might not be enough of an offering.
it's like Kalysdra's also got the mount.
Yeah,
So the two of them could move at about the same speed.
Mhm.
And then I could
How long
cast
does that
Strider
not
on.
last again?
until
Pretty
it
much
dies
forever.
Oh, okay. I could
or
have
is
sworn.
dismissed.
Yeah,
There's
paladins
so much-
find steeds are really, really.
Listen,
good.
I know that Find Greater Steed is ridiculous, but I thought Find Steed had a limit because I read things incorrectly, and it's fine.
I don't see one on the spell card at all. So like it's it says when the steed drops to 0 hit points, it disappears.
Or you can physically or manually
hmm
return it.
But it doesn't say anything about it going away.
Then it doesn't exist, which is great.
Yeah, it just chills out pretty much forever until something either eats it or you decide it needs to leave.
Mm.
No longer stealthy enough. Away with you.
Yeah. Well,
Who
I
would
can
have
also
guessed it?
find Steed.
Who would have
Use
guessed
them
it?
to block doorways.
Yeah, you can find Steed and then send someone else on it.
Me.
Okay, so we've decided we're definitely splitting the party on this one. Who's
Yes.
going where?
I'm going
mean-
with you.
Leo would also be fine going to the City of the Dead by himself if everyone else wants to go to the temple.
I will go to the City of the Dead with you.
All right.
Dread?
I'll probably go to the temple.
Vermin?
Temple.
Hmm.
Alright.
Nasa.
All right.
Plus,
So-
we go to Melitus. We could potentially find a cart.
Potentially, yeah.
Make it easier to transport the party around.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay. So it is currently 8:30. We have been going for the typical 3 hours now. Do we want to call this a 2-sessioner?
I think so.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
fine with
probably
whatever.
that for the best.
Because there's a lot
Okay.
that I think's about to happen, and with splitting the party, it's gonna make it take that much longer. I think.
Yep.
So,
first, so how do we split the Steed?
We can't.
how do you what?
Well, because we've got 2 fine steeds.
Mm-hmm.
We could give both of them to us leonin so that we get to the City of the Dead faster. Or we could give them to the temple people so that most of them are at a similar speed. But then there will be how many people can fit on a steed?
One.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's 1, but
Where are you getting 2 from?
Me and Kalyssdra.
Yeah,
We're both paladins.
Oh, I see.
yeah, they both. I think if you're going to, if it's no longer the I need to dash like hell speed
Yeah, we're not actually caring about travel speed at this point.
from Harmiala, yeah, I mean it's the. I think y'all would have maybe more equivalent speeds if Harmiala did try to carry someone. Like just to even that out, but yeah, I don't think we need to worry too much about travel speed.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, whose weight? What's people's weights in character?
It's
More than
no,
200?
Yeah, I
no
need to
longer
check.
relevant.
I don't think I
Yeah.
ever actually calculated mine.
I think
Snake.
big old-
800 pounds.
Yeah, well, you're not getting on a horse.
Well,
I
because
want to say that not
technically-
including armor, I want to say that a gorgon is probably heavier than
Yeah, gorgons are heavy. They're big.
Well,
they have big little snake legs.
Actually, including
Without-
our
I calculated,
without calculating armor at all.
so
I did mine, and I am 145 pounds.
You're
So
probably the lightest, and
I
that's
am-
definitely within Harmiala's carrying capacity.
So I'm currently carrying 136 pounds on me, so probably like 350, 400 is the total weight.
Probably.
I'm not
Ye-
even attempting it because I'm essentially a half person, half constrictor,
Yeah, half boa
Yep.
constrictor.
which are heavy. That's all that needs to be known is that heavy.
It's also not relevant because assuming standard travel speeds, we're basically going to come back at around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't need to worry about that.
I'd say keep your steed just so you can, if you need to use it, you could use it there.
Yeah.
The telepathy thing could also come in handy if you have to split up in the city.
True.
All right. So,
Well, and if you now that you mentioned that, having at least one steed with the other party would be good,
And I've got
So-
mine.
so that we have a line of communication.
well, it only works
Oh.
within 1 mile.
Oh, then never
Yeah,
mind.
we'd be
Never
out
mind.
of there.
Doesn't
'Cause,
matter.
Yep. If it's
I'm
4
pretty-
hours away, 3 hours away, definitely
Good
Several
idea,
miles
but
I mean,
because
Kyros can potentially prepare and use sending. So,
good.
and I believe, and subsequently, Leo could do the same.
what is that one?
It's
Sending.
the
Fifth
sending
level.
is magic Twitter.
Yeah, I just have message, so it's basically I can whisper in the area, but
Yeah, I don't think I have
Oh,
sending.
it's third level. I'm dumb.
Yeah, I don't have sending.
Oh, can I?
because you're not. All right, because Kyros is full paladin. And
Kyros
you're
is a cleric.
Here's cleric.
cleric.
Kalyssdra is a paladin.
Cleric.
Callistra's full paladin, yeah.
I think you've
My
gotten those
bad.
two mixed
I
up a
don't
couple
think
times.
I have sending on mine, though.
No, I don't think you do. I was definitely looking at Kyros' sheet because my brain was like, clerics and paladins are basically the same thing.
I also
There's
don't
there's
have any
a lot
third
of
level
overlap.
spells.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah, paladins do not have sending.
It's
Okay.
well.
I do have a cleric
took
spell,
it for a
which is
second.
Sanctuary.
so right before we end, can I try rolling to open the box?
You sure can. Does anyone want to
good.
contribute?
Well,
Yes,
I'm right
I
next
do.
to you, so
Oh, they can answer. They can
And what
answer.
is that?
You can answer sending.
yeah, you can answer sending.
In that
So,
case, I'm going to
Investigation to take a look at the box and see a way to open it.
I'll stand nearby in case the box does something when you open it.
I'm
Same.
I'm
I'll-
gonna stand
I'll
further
use-
back in case the box does something when you open it.
I'll use the guidance cantrip on Clopin,
Okay.
which is you can add D4,
D4
to the ability check when you go for it.
guidance.
So with a 20 and on investigation, you can see that there is the notable thing about the container is that it has been extremely worn down by time. And you can see that it in fact rotates. Like there are components to it that rotate in the middle that are thin, and the symbols on them are very, very barely present.
Can I use the mending cantrip to restore the symbol?
Sure.
All right.
And let me see if I can pull up. I have there are 5 slots on it, and each of those slots has 14 images on them. Let me see if I can pull them up.
I'm gonna make a calculated guess as to what 14 they are.
Mm-hmm.
They're the gods.
It
Mine is
isn't
Most important.
It is, in fact, each of those is a symbol of the gods except for Clothis. I'm trying to. I know there are. There
So
we
it's
go.
very old. Back before
Yes.
Clothis returned.
Yes.
Crimes and heresy.
Trying to. I have to I'm trying to pull up all the images one at a time, and it's not the easiest thing in the world.
No worries.
That I found a faster way, so give me just a second
All right.
while I open up 14 images. I added a pin. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. You move away for right now, please.
Happy cat, happy cat.
Nope, not you. You are the one that I do not need. The very specific one I do not need.
You hear that? He's saying your god's not needed.
I am listening.
Well, technically, also there is.
So,
If you consider it 16.
Oh yeah,
But-
you.
Xenagos did not get a symbol.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the other thing with it.
Oh dear.
So I am sharing the symbols now.
Okay, these are nice symbols though.
I'm slowly sliding them across my screen as I up them.
They're really nice symbols.
That's a lot of symbols.
There's
Real
14
large.
of them. I'm mostly just sharing them so you have an idea of what they look like. So you know, verisimilitude, as these are the symbols showing up on the container. And 5 of them are necessary to open the container.
5 primary gods.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go with to start.
Like auto.
All right, it's a fair point. You try that, and one of them is correct.
Which
Wait.
one?
It's the first one that you selected was Heliod, and it clicked. That one feels like it locked into place.
Okay, so this is sort of mastermind setup.
Try Eroris.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Heliod, Iroas, Afara, Theros, and Kmetra.
Which order?
In that order.
In that order? Incorrect. Karametra being the last one does seem to be the correct one, though.
So Heliod first, Karametra last.
Yes.
Heliod, Afara, Phoenix, Mogus. Oh, I need more from that shit. Yeah,
Well, the first and the last one are correct. It's just
Yeah.
the middle three
Yeah.
that were.
I was trying to complete the circle, but it didn't.
Yeah,
I need more.
Starting with Heliod means that the circle's a little weird. You can't
Yeah.
do the 2-color combos.
I'll go with Heliod, Theros, Iroas, Crufex, Kmetra.
Still incorrect. None of those middle 3 worked.
Right, I need to actually start writing down the combos I use.
Do we need to do this right now?
So I will say that the information you have is this is sort of in character and out of character. The greatest of these is the solid mono white god Heliod, god of the sun, and the last of them is the white green god of the harvest Karametra. So that is the 2 that you have, and
So
they're-
like
Farika in the
something.
4th spot.
Sorry, what'd you say, Leo?
I was saying so like a white something and a green something in the 2nd and 4th slots.
Potentially. You said Farika in the 4th slot?
Yeah, Theros in the 2nd and Everos in the middle.
Erebos in the middle?
Mhm.
And Farika and Athreos?
Mm-hmm.
Incorrect.
Darn.
A very good guess, though, but incorrect. So, I guess...
Can I make a religion check on this?
Sure.
Guidance.
While you're messing with it, she'll look at it and go, "Can you put Thassa in all of them?"
Can
Okay,
you-
so what all bonuses do I get on this? We'll have to roll.
You get a D4.
Get a plus D4. You roll a D4.
So 20.
Yeah.
Plus the Is that aura giving it
It's a
boost?
saving throw. So
Okay.
it's more if you open it and something bad happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, with a 20, and thinking about the location you're in, your guess that it is all the white aligned gods seems on the money. It's just a matter of what order it goes in. Because you pulled this while this did have a spot dedicated in the back for all of the major gods, this was still a primarily Heliod temple, primarily white aligned temple.
So
Okay.
Theros and Daxos.
Yeah. No.
Oh, wait,
This is
no.
a different game.
Oh, no,
So I'm gonna.
That just has.
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try Heliod, Aphara, Theros, Iroas, Karametra.
It clicks open.
Yeah.
It was the cycle in the secondaries.
It was the cycle. It was just Heliod was in this situation white.
Yeah.
All right. And what falls out is something that has clearly been blessed. Let me see if I can. You find a garment that appears to be made of fleece. Specifically, the fleece
Yeah.
of a Nyxborn ram.
Doesn't that sound familiar?
Identify ritual.
So it is along with that, it glimmers with starlight and whatnot. And what you can see is that this particular item, I'm going to go ahead and put it into your inventory, Clopin.
All right.
And it the simple way to think of it is that it can do each of these once per day.
Once per day. Okay.
So you're about to see a whole bunch of fleece garments enter your inventory, but it's actually just the one.
Oh, jeez.
For all of them, I just see fleece garment.
Because I haven't ID'd it yet.
Okay.
What?
So, it is the fleece of it is a golden fleece reference. It is a magic fleece garment that can that has the capabilities of abundance of food, animal affinity, calming presence, the power of Nyx, protection, and trail of flowers. And so anyone who wears it, flowers will follow them as they walk, like grow in their footsteps. +1 bonus to AC and saving throws. They have advantage on all charisma persuasion checks. They can cast animal affinity or animal friendship once per day. And they can cast create food and water once per day. So it's a lot of little effects that add up.
Okay, then. I will definitely be enjoying the protection side of it.
All right, we found a god item.
Does this require a... Yes, it does require
It does
attunement.
require attunement.
Okay, I'll double check the rules on that before the next session.
No worries.
But that is a very... I think that's a good ending point for this. It's... Well, then.
You found the god's Technicolor Dreamcoat.
And it's the fact that I'm a satyr wearing fleece.
Also very good.
A robot satyr.
Yes. All right.
Well,
So
I
I
think
guess we
that'll
should
do
do the...
Any whispers triggered by it?
I will send you something after the session.
Okay.
All right, then. Well, in that case, thank you for listening to our Spudventures. If you like what you heard, you can find more at youtube.com/Newbiespud, or wherever you get your fine podcasts, whether that's iTunes, Google Play, or Spotify. We aim to live stream these games every Sunday around 2 p.m. Pacific at twitch.tv/Newbiespud when my internet behaves. If you want to keep up with this and other projects I'm doing, you can follow me on Twitter at Newbiespud. And if you want to support my ability to produce more content like this, please consider supporting me at patreon.com/Newbiespud. See you next time with more of the Forgotten Ones.